Good evening, everyone. Call this meeting of Horn Lake Mayor and Board of Aldermen to order this August 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at Horn Lake City Hall. We have a quorum present tonight, so we can proceed with our agenda. Invocation by Alderman Johnson. Then we have Pledge of Allegiance by Alderman McKinney.
Let us bow. Heavenly Father, we come tonight to say thank you. Lord God, thank you for all the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us. Lord, thank you for allowing us to see another day. Lord, as we gather to handle business of your city, help us to be wise in our decision making, Lord God. Lord God, help us to be more like you in everything that we do. Lord God, I ask that you just bless each family that's represented here on tonight. Lord, you know our needs and the desires of our hearts. Lord, grant us what you believe we deserve. Thank you for all of our employees, Lord God. Thank you for all of our department heads. Lord God, thank you for all those who help the city run from day to day. Lord God, we give you praise, we give you honor, and we give you glory. This I pray in your name, amen.
Now we have our roll call by Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney.
Here.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Here.
Alderwoman Armstrong.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Langston.
Here.
Alderman Bostic.
Here.
We have all of our aldermen here tonight. We will proceed with the vote on the municipal document. I
Mayor.
entertain a motion to approve the municipal document.
Yeah, Mayor.
Alderman Bledsoe. Bostic. Alderman Bostic.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Second by Alderman Johnson. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We will proceed to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor.
Alderman Bostic.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with one exception of moving item E to executive session.
Alderman Bostic made the motion for the consent agenda to move item E to the executive session. Do we have a second?
Second.
Alderman Bledsoe, second. Any discussion? All right, roll call, Ms. Carter.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Smith.
Aye.
Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We thank you all for your vote. Next, we'll have our presentation by our special guest in the fire department. Claims document. I'm sorry, claims document.
Mayor,
Alderman Johnson.
I move that we accept the claims docket. General Fund, $1,144,487.67. Library Fund, $3,545.49. Economic Development Fund, $911.55. Utility Fund, $270,289.17, for a total docket of $1,419,233.88.
All right, thank you, Alderman Johnson. I entertain a motion to approve the claims docket.
Mayor,
Se-
a second.
Second, Alderman Langston, sorry about that, Langston. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe, Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Smith,
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderman Bostick.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next, we'll move on to a presentation of special guests. We have a presentation by the fire department. You're welcome.
This work. What I have tonight is almost a regret to have to get up and do this. We have someone in the fire department. We don't usually have too many that stay long enough to retire, but we have one tonight that's retiring with 23 years, but he really has 25 years in the PERS system. He worked over at South Haven a little bit before he came here. He started here in 2002. He's been with the fire department since 2002. He worked as a firefighter, then he went on to become a driver, then a lieutenant, then a battalion chief, and now he serves as our fire inspector. And it's with real deep regret. I really hate to see him leave, but I also wish him the best in his endeavors of what goes next. He's young, but he says he's going to work for his second retirement somewhere else. So, it's presented to Captain Bradley Woods in appreciation of your 23 years of service, dedicated service to provide the city of Horn Lake and the citizens. Your time and efforts will always be remembered. 2025. Brad's last day will be
August 29th.
August 29th, last day to work. Okay.
You was hoping October.
I was hoping I could. So Brad was going to go home this afternoon. I told him he had to stay and come to the meeting, that he got a speech to give. So I told him he had about 10 minutes to write that speech. I don't know what you wrote. Did you write one?
I didn't really write one, but I'll just take a minute to express my sincere thanks and for the past elected officials and the present elected officials. The city's in good hands going forward. Chief level, Chief White, all the administration, and my brothers and sisters back there at the fire department. Really appreciate everything y'all done for me. And the city afforded me a way and putting their trust in me to protect the citizens of the city of Horn Lake for all these years. Made a lot of good friends. I won't forget you. I'm only a phone call away. So appreciate everything.
I will say, you know, Brad was fire inspector. He was a good cop. He always called me in to be the bad cop. Before, my inspector was Brown, and he was the bad cop, and he called me in to be the good cop. So Brad made me play the other way this time, because Brad was always going to get along with everybody out there, no matter what their problem was. He worked really hard to try to give them the benefit of everything and try to work with them to get their stuff done. And we've always worked good with that. So, like I said, our fire inspector is only there to protect and to try to make everything a life safety issue and to try to make it better for the people that work in those businesses or your homes, whichever one. And again, the only thing I can say, if you don't have a smoke detector in your house, go by Walmart and get one on the way home. And if you can't afford one, call us. We'll try to help you out. But you shouldn't go to sleep tonight without one working in your house. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Chief Linville, and good luck to you, Bradley Woods. I don't know who I'm going to see at lunch every once in a while now. We have a presentation by First Regional Library.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you. I'm Lori Barnes. I'm Director of First Regional Library, and I have with me this evening Jennifer Stevenson, who is Assistant Director for Public Services, David Powell, Assistant Director for Technology Services, Nancy Anderson from here in Horn Lake, who is our Business Manager, as well as Janice Gorman, who is the Head Librarian at the M.R. Dye Public Library. First of all, congratulations to all of you. You either were elected for the first time or re-elected, and we just congratulate you and are happy to see you tonight. We're looking forward to establishing this relationship. We already have one with those of you who've served, and we're looking forward to moving forward with all of you to better the library here in Horn Lake. At this time, I would like to acknowledge some of the accomplishments that we've had this year at First Regional Library. We've measured even higher levels of library usage, as is indicated by the number of items we have checked out, as well as the number of visitors we've welcomed this past year, as well as the number of programs. We've had great success in the area of outreach services, which included taking library services out into the community to serve even more patrons in schools, festivals, all kinds of things. We updated and upgraded our technology, including computers and software for public access and print management systems at all of our libraries. And at this time, I'm going to turn over to David Powell, who's going to go over some statistics for you tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I passed out this handout that has some of our information. All the pictures on it are taken from your library, and I believe all of them are also from this summer. You might even see a special person you know in there. But I just wanted to spend some time saying how well give you some facts on how well your library is performing. We almost had 55,000 visits last fiscal year, and that's people coming through those doors through that year. And we've had 43,000 plus checkouts of people borrowing items. We've had 281 total programs for all ages, whether it was youth, adult, teen, which is a huge amount. And of those 281, 220 of them were aimed at our teens and our young children and kids of the community. We're very proud of all the things of all our programming that we've done for the youth here in Horn Lake. As you can see, our total number of programs, people attending, we almost had 10,000 people, and almost 8,500 of them were for those youth children's programs. So we're very, very proud of our numbers, and we just continue to grow. We're very proud of our staff over at Horn Lake too, because they've accomplished a lot. And I'm going to turn it over to the other assistant director, Jennifer.
Thank you all so much. I'm Jennifer Stevenson. I'm the Assistant Director for Public Services at the First Regional Library System. And part of my job is helping to maintain all of our libraries, making sure we've got great managers like Janice who are trained and help fill in between managers and things like that. But I get around to lots of the branches. I've spent a lot of time in Horn Lake. I wanted to say it's been really refreshing. We've got new carpet recently, and we've been doing some improvements. We've gotten our technology upgraded with our patron computers, with our staff computers. We've been making some furniture changes, just kind of sprucing the place up a little bit, make it more inviting and welcoming and comfortable for our patrons and your community constituents who come in and visit the library. So that's something we're always working towards and making sure we maintain a good atmosphere. But, David was talking about some of our statistics, which the numbers are great, but then kind of what does that mean compared to the previous year? And I wanted to let you know that, especially for programs, that was almost 18% increase from the previous fiscal year of how many people were coming into the library just to attend a program. And I think that's great growth. It shows and reflects some of the growth of the city of Horn Lake. Just for our summer reading programs, this past fiscal year, there was a 22.7% increase in the number of programs we offered, and there was over a 47% increase in the number of people who just attended a summer reading program. It's been very important for us to reach children in the community, but we also have made a commitment to also try to do more programs for adults. So Janice has been spearheading that a lot lately, trying to make sure that we're serving all of our patrons, whether they're from birth to senior citizens. We want to make sure that there's something for everyone. We do have another side right here of First Regional Library statistics. This is for our whole system, and you'll just see right there, we've had over 500,000 people come in all 14 of our branches in First Regional. I mean, that's a huge number we have a 5-county system, and 917,000 plus items checked out. You'll see the numbers below. They're just, every year it's great to come and brag about the growth. But that's reflected in the growth of our communities too. And I think part of a successful community is having a successful library. Whether you're students or you're retired or you just want something to do for leisure, go to a program, check out a book. I think we do a great job of that, and we want to keep continuing to support the community. Janice and her staff, we always make sure that we are good partners with the community departments. Example, for the fire department or Parks and Rec, that we're working with our community partners to make it even better. So I have a lot to say. I like to brag a lot about what the good things we're doing, but I do want to give our new branch head librarian, Janice, a chance to say a few words too. Janice?
Good evening. My name is Janice Gorman, and I am the head branch librarian for the Horn Lake Library, MRDI. Excuse me. So as Jennifer mentioned, Horn Lake Library partners with some of the local agencies during our summer reading program, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the programs that we've had this summer. So we partnered with Parks and Rec. We did Movies in the Park. We did Wet and Wild, Teddy Bear Picnic. We also partnered with the Horn Lake Fire Department. They came out, did a demonstration of Jaws of Life. They brought out all the bells and whistles, the fire trucks, helicopters, ambulance, and the kids loved it. We also partnered with the Horn Lake Police Department. We had Gamezilla, which is a truck that comes out, and it has all these games for kids. So while some of the kids were on the truck, the other kids were being read to by the police chief. So it worked out well. We also had a forensic science program, which I'd like to see that come back next year. The kids were very engaged. They had their little magnifying glasses and their gloves, and they were learning how to do forensic puzzling, basically. And so, like I said, they were really engaged with that, and we had a lot of kids, more than we anticipated, which is great. I know David gave some numbers, but I'm just going to be specific to Horn Lake. And so in July, which was the end of our programming, we had 4,733 visitors. And in the future, we will have the 41st Army Band to come out. We're partnering with Parks and Rec, so they'll come out and help us celebrate America's 250th anniversary. So that'll be in June of next year. And as far as adult programming, we will be having a series of gardening programs. They'll start in November of this year, and they'll go through August of next year. So we're really looking forward to that. I've been here 5 months, and so I just wanted to read a little bit of some of the Google reviews that the Horn Lake Library has gotten. We have one from Chris Solis, who says that the MRDI Public Library has always been a spot for my homeschool family. The staff are friendly, there's a wide selection of books, and there are puppets and picture books for the kids in a rug-floored kid area. There are always summer activities going on there too, reptile, amphibian shows, dinosaur exhibits, and more. And he said a lot of other things, but I won't read all of that. And also we had one from KK Cook, who said, I went there to have my taxes prepared. It was free since I was low income. We also had from Kashina Wilson, it is a very good library to go and very professional librarians. And the last one was from Denise Ellis, and she just said great workers. So that kind of wraps things up for me. I really appreciate you all, and I'm so grateful for the funding that you all provide for the library. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Denise. Just in closing, I want to just share with you, because some of you may not be very familiar with what goes on at the library, but I'm the director of the system. I get more positive comments from patrons about the Horn Lake Library, the MRDI Library, than any of our other libraries that we have in our system. And that says a lot. It really says a lot about the community. It says a lot about the staff that we have that work there, that work really hard to serve your constituents, and we're really proud of that. But in closing, for fiscal year 2026, we are requesting funding in the amount of $160,000 from the city of Horn Lake. We thank you so very much for considering this request, and to receive that amount would ensure that we're able to continue the wonderful services and programs that we have ongoing at the library. And we thank you for considering that, okay? Any comments or questions at this time?
Mayor, I do have a question. So you've got, you have 14 branches
We do.
in 5 different counties.
That's correct.
So the money that you're requesting, is it going to the Horn Lake branch or is it going overall?
It takes more than that amount, sir, to operate the Horn Lake Library. That just goes toward the operation of the Horn Lake Library.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So do you guys like itemize or tell us exactly where the money goes?
We could provide for you a budget. We absolutely could. In
Okay.
fact, I'll be happy to email that to you. I'll check the city connections tomorrow, and I'll be happy to email that to you.
Thank you so much.
Be happy to. Uh-huh.
Let me ask our city administrator, Ms. Carter, do you have any recommendations as far as this in our budget?
I just received that today, was that yesterday? I can't remember that, I received that. We did have an opportunity, but I am in the process of, we're budget hearing, and I am meeting, 2-on-2 with our aldermen. And so, some of the questions, and I know with working, through the others, you guys would present, a budget as well as an audit, and where those monies, how those monies are, funneling through. We're right at the end of, preparing for that budget.
Right.
I think the misunderstanding was going to Mr. Robertson prior to realizing that that was coming to me, so.
Gotcha.
I know that there were several in meeting that had those questions, so if we could turn that around fairly quickly.
We can absolutely provide it. Let me just talk a little bit about how we're audited. We're audited every year by an auditor who is recommended by the state auditor, Shad White. The auditor comes in annually and audits all of our funds that we receive from all entities, and we contribute that, a copy of that audit to all of our counties, to the state, of course, to the counties, and to the cities. But if you're unable to locate that audit, I will be more than happy to send you an. Would you prefer to have a digital copy, ma'am, of an audit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and we can also provide a budget for the coming year, and that will not be a problem at all, okay? Be happy to do it, in fact. Thank you very much. Mayor, thank you again so much. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate all that y'all do.
Thank you all.
For the city.
It was a wonderful summer over there. I got to participate in some of the activities. Now, I wouldn't get wet, though. I was not coming to get wet, so.
Well, I have to say one last thing before we leave. Sometimes you might hear people say things like the internet's taking the place of the public library, and I'm just here to tell you that's not the case, okay? It's just not the case. I can say that in the month of June of 2025, this summer, all libraries in First Regional had welcomed over 62,000 people in our libraries. So, no, the internet's not taking the place of the public library. We're incredibly busy, and we love serving your constituents.
Thank you all for all that you do.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone. I love sports.
Oh, no, you have another question. Alderman Johnson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just want to thank you all for the work that you all do.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Attending some of those programs this summer, it was more than just reading, and that's one thing we forget. The library is more than just about books. It's about community. It's about sharing one with another. The kids were having fun. They had a place to eat. with
did.
food. So it's just so much more. So thank you for the service that you all provide to us.
You're
And
so
we look
welcome.
forward to continuing to work with you guys. So thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a great summer. Great. Thank you all again so much.
Any other alderman?
Any
Mayor.
other questions? No?
Alderman Bledsoe.
I wanted to welcome you to Horn Lake there, Branson. I'm gonna try to get by and see you. You're on board there. So, there's movie night on Friday nights in the summertime,
Yes.
miserably hot. There was times that I wanted to load the truck up with the grandkids, like, ain't happening, you know?
I can't imagine
And
why.
I was just wondering if there's a possibility y'all could look into maybe the fall, a couple of times with Park, when the high school football game have an away game,
Yes.
that they would offer something for the kids that couldn't go down to these other schools to watch the high school football game, that they could stay here in Horn Lake and have a couple of 2 or 3 movie nights when the temperature's like in the 70s or 80s instead
Lot
of
more tolerable.
120. Just a thought, if you
Yes.
could look into that.
I'm
that'd be
sure we
great.
could work, I don't know that anything that specific is in the works, but I'm sure we can work it out.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you for the suggestion. We appreciate it.
Alderman Bostic trying to run that bill up.
I just want to say real quick, whoa. Wanted to say real quick, that was good, Valley. That was funny that one of the people that you actually used to talk about like all the good reviews you're getting, the first one you mentioned was actually my father-in-law. So, so to say that this library is close to the family and close to family, close to the heart is mind-blowing. You say you have 54,515 visitors in there. I think my children are 500 of them by themselves. They love it over there, and they love everything y'all do. I am looking forward to that gardening program. It's something that we've had discussions about up here, trying to do something around the city as like a future planning. So to see something that already kind of starting within that in the library, something that's so central to the community and everything else, is great. I can't wait to hear more information on that as it gets kind of set up. And if you need any help, my mother is willing and ready to come up there and tell you all about square foot gardening and everything else. So,
Awesome.
so thank y'all very much for all this information. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you again. Thank you again.
Thank you, Alderman Langston. Thank you all so
Have a
much.
great evening, everyone.
Have a wonderful
Good
evening.
to see you.
All right, next we're moving to planning. We have case number 2025-098. Andrew?
All right, thank you. This case is a request by Prentice Mitchell of Goodman Auto Center LLC to use the building at address 2484 Goodman Road West as a motor vehicle service and minor repair business. The structure to be occupied already exists on the lot and appears agreeable to the applicant for this type of business being proposed, as it appears designed to have multiple garage doors to accept vehicles to be serviced. Below is a Google Street View captured in March 2025 of this building to show its current design. So that's exactly what it looks like right now. On the next slide, on the next page, we have the aerial view of the property. It's at the intersection of Goodman Road West and Hurt Road with one entrance on each of those roads. The northern portion of this property contains the wooden fence, and you can kind of see it in that image there. On the next page, we have the zoning of this property. This parcel is in a C4 zone. The lot adjoining this lot is C3, and the lot directly across Hurt Road is C4. Both of the lots on the southern side of this intersection are zoned C3 as well. So as far as the site plan, the applicant is not intending to change anything on the site other than improving the cosmetic deficiencies currently seen on the property. The applicant intends to keep the overall layout the same as it exists, with the understanding of bringing the property within regulation of all ordinances. So for our planning staff review, as part of the review process by the Planning Commission, for any conditional use permit request, the Planning Commission must determine whether or not this proposal will substantially increase traffic hazards or congestion, substantially increase fire hazards, adversely affect the character of the neighborhood, adversely affect the general welfare of the city, and overtax public utilities or community facilities, and then whether or not it will be in conflict with the comprehensive plan. So when it gets to the Board of Aldermen is tasked with reviewing a different set of criteria. The Code of Ordinances states that the Board of Aldermen shall not grant a conditional use permit unless satisfactory provisions have been made concerning the following: off-street parking and loading areas, refuse and service areas, utilities with reference to locations, availability, and compatibility, screening and buffering with reference to type, dimensions, and character, required yards and other open space, general compatibility with adjacent properties and other property in the zone district, and any other provisions deemed applicable by the governing authority. And so, we at the planning department require that all applicants applying for a conditional use permit submit written statements addressing all of the criteria that the board and the planning commission have to investigate during their meetings. So, we copy and pasted the applicant's letter in there. We can kind of scroll past that. I'm sure everyone's had a chance to read the applicant's letter. And then on the next page, we have the planning department's review of the same criteria. So just so everyone had the opportunity to see exactly what the planning commission reviewed, I wrote into the report the review for letters A through F for the planning commission. We can kind of skip down past that and go straight to the bottom of page 7. On the bottom of page 7, we have that the planning commission did not find anything that conflicted with the aforementioned criteria. And for more details, y'all can reference the minutes, which I have also included in this report in a different section. So in that second to last paragraph, that starts the Board of Aldermen's review criteria. And so for reviewing letter A for the Board of Aldermen, planning staff finds that the existing layout of the parking area is adequate for the proposed land use. However, the lot is missing the required curbs at the end of the parking spaces, and the striping is faded. So we will put a recommendation at the end of the report for installing either the curbs that we require for new development, or as the bare minimum, the parking concrete bars at the end of each parking space, as well as restriping the whole lot to get it into those parking space standards that we require. In reviewing letter B, planning staff does not see any specifications from the applicant on plans for trash pickup. At the time of writing, planning staff is, we would like for the applicant to specify the type and location of trash receptacles. One concern that the planning department has is the method of removing the used tires from the property. So we noticed that there are there's other businesses in Horn Lake that do tire changes and that seem to struggle with getting rid of their used tires. They, for whatever reason, seem to be struggling with having these used tires picked up by whatever companies they're using. We have multiple tire companies around town that are, they have giant stacks of tires around their buildings. We would like for this applicant to address the board on how these used tires are going to get picked up, and in the meantime, how this applicant is going to stack them, store them, where they're going to put them, and how they're going to follow all building and fire codes regarding that. In reviewing letter C, planning staff does not see any issues in regard to utilities. The applicant does not intend to change anything regarding utility setup on site. In reviewing letter D, the planning staff does not believe that screening will be necessary, as the wooden fence in the back of the property already acts as the screen to the neighborhood. Trees are typically used as screening, but in this case, they would not be needed if that wooden fence is to remain, since that wooden fence does block a lot of the sight and sound between the houses and that commercial building. In reviewing letter E, planning staff does not see a reason to require any additional open space on the property. And in reviewing letter F, Planning staff has determined that since this building was designed specifically for the land use being requested, the land use is certainly compatible with the building and presumably compatible with the surrounding area, especially as this building design had to be approved in the past. This land use will be at a busy intersection on a major road in front of a gas station, a convenience store, a bank, and a restaurant, as well as a vacant lot where fireworks are sold seasonally. So this land use is highly compatible with a major commercialized road. Although there are residential properties to the north of this parcel, planning staff believes there is enough space between this business and those residences. The distance from this property line to the closest residential property line is approximately 130 feet, and the distance from the building itself to the house on that property is approximately 200 feet. And then for letter G gives the Board of Aldermen the authority to discuss any relevant aspect not already mentioned in the previous criteria. So I have the Planning Commission meeting minutes posted there for anyone to reference. So you can scroll down to the conclusion, and for our conclusion, we have, upon reviewing the same criteria that the Board of Aldermen must review, planning staff did not see any reason to recommend denial for this request. However, the Board of Aldermen must do its own review and deliberate over the specific criteria they're required to review. So for the possible motion, we have a possible motion that the board could read, and we added in 5 conditions that the planning department recommends for the board to impose on the applicant. And those are the previous conditions I mentioned before. So that concludes that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Do the board have any questions for Andrew? Alderman Bledsoe?
Andrew, the planning commission passed it 6-0.
Yes, sir. The planning commission did recommend approval by a vote of 6-0.
Any more questions by the board to Mr. Andrew? Will the developer come up? Please give your name and address, please.
Good evening. Prentice Mitchell, 3774 Conrail Circle.
All right.
Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Prentice? Alderman Johnson?
Good evening, Mr. Mitchell. Thank you for being here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Have you been given the recommendations from the planning commission yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So are you willing, now he said curbs do the curbs or the striping. That's probably something that you've already planned. What ways do you plan to remove the tires that may be on your property?
Yes, the striping, of course, is typical for the parking lot. To remark the handicap spaces as well. That's typical. That's going to be done. And the tires, the plan so far is to have a small mini storage on the backside of the property. So the tires will be hitting at all times.
Have you already begun to make improvements on the property?
I've already began to make improvements on the frontage of the property because that was the most visible side of the property. When I first took over the property, the grass was grown, weeds, debris. So I've started to clean the front. I'm working on the back right now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do anyone else have any questions for Mr. Prentice Mitchell?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Armstrong?
since you haven't had the recommendations from the Planning Commission, have you read them to be able to know that you'll be able to comply with all of them?
I was given, thank you for that question, I was given the given that today, was it today or yesterday, Andrew? This
I
morning.
can't remember. It was either today or yesterday.
Yeah, some of the things that, can we read over them again?
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm glad you asked that. I was about to raise my hand and request to read this. I just want the whole board and the applicant and everybody just to be on the same page here. So, of course, all of this can be changed to whatever the board wants. The planning department has put in for the recommendations for these to be the conditions. So we are recommending approval on the condition that the applicant fully repairs the fencing, which shall include a gate in a manner that complies with all fence ordinances. Right now, the fence is in a state of disrepair. So as one condition, we're going to require that the applicant brings that fence into conformity and gets a fence permit with the planning department. Condition number 2, that the applicant removes the remnants of the signage in disrepair and all non-conforming signs and obtains all required sign permits for new signage. There's a pole sign on the property. It is taller than the ordinance allows, and the ordinance does not allow pole signs in that area. So we are requesting that that sign get tore down and a new one be built in its place within regulation. And then, of course, there's a sign in disrepair attached to the building, and we're requesting that, of course, that be repaired. The third condition is that the applicant removes all the outside leftover material behind from the previous tenant. The previous tenant moved out and left a bunch of junk on the property, so of course we're requesting that the applicant removes all of that. Condition number 4, the applicant restripes the parking areas as required by the ordinances. And then condition number 5, the applicant installs a curb at least 6 inches in height around the entire parking area, or installs the concrete stop bars at the end of every parking space. The way our ordinance reads is for every parking area, the spaces at the end of a row of parking have to have these landscaped islands that have a 6-inch concrete curb. But at the end of each parking space, the ordinance simply says that there has to be something blocking cars from rolling into the grass. So that's why the concrete bars are the bare minimum. But of course, we would like to see the property be the best that it can be. So we would highly encourage for the curbs around the whole parking lot, and of course, with the parking lot up to the standard width of the driveway and the parking spaces. And those are the conditions we added on this list. The thing about the tires that I mentioned, that's a little more open for discussion. We had a tire shop approved a few months ago who the board required them to build a tire rack specifically for the used tire pickup. I do not know how good or bad that's going, but the applicant may address that tire pickup process if the board wants to press on that. But those are the conditions we listed on this paper.
Andrew, concerning the sign, are you talking about the sign that's on the building in the picture?
There is a attached wall sign on the building. It looked like an old cabinet sign with the face torn off. And then there's also a pole sign on the property that is faded and in disrepair.
Thank you, Andrew.
Andrew, I got a question.
Alderman Smith?
So what was done to the building with the person that had it before now? Because you named a lot.
I'm sorry, what exactly are you asking about? Are you asking about the previous tenant, or?
Yeah, like all of the things that you were saying that need to be done to it?
That's gonna be more of a code enforcement question. I don't really have involvement on the previous tenant and the landlord and tenant's upkeep of the property. I could just tell you from what I've heard that there certainly was a bunch of issues between the landlord and the tenant on that property, and I don't know if there were any code violations in recent history over there.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, you have any more questions for Andrew? Andrew, would the previous tenant been considered grandfathered in under an old ordinance until the exchange of owners?
I try not to use that term. Basically, if any, the way we've always handled removing signs to come into conformity is if someone approached us with a sign permit and said, hey, I want to build this sign, and if they wanted to replace the facing on the sign, we would reject it and say, you can only change this sign to a state that is within regulation. But
So concerning the structural issues that you doing exchange of ownership, that's when you try to bring it into compliance, right?
yes, if we ever have an application that comes to us for a non-conforming sign, we would have them redesign it to be within regulation. And if that means tearing down the sign to rebuild a new one, that's what we request.
Thank you, Andrew. Any more questions?
Mayor,
Alderman McKinney?
I do have one. I did go to the on-site earlier this morning, and I'm just, I guess, making an observation. On Hurt Road, the entrance on Hurt Road, the driveway or the entrance was like really, it was like going over a speed bump trying to get up into the property. So I don't know if that's something that needs to be looked at, or if that's something that's already in compliance or whatever. So like I said, I'm just making an observation.
And I may suggest adding a sixth condition to have that driveway entrance specified on a future plan to be in conformance with our with any driveway regulations in our ordinance. So I mean that could be a totally fair sixth condition. And the way I have this laid out is, if the board approves this with these conditions, what would happen is the applicant would have to submit to the planning department a revised site plan showing all of this to be within conformity. And during his building permit process, certificate of occupancy process, we would make sure at the planning department level, we would make sure that the applicant has met all of the conditions approved tonight before we issue the certificate of occupancy.
Thank you, Andrew. Alderwoman Armstrong?
I have a question for Mr. Mitchell. The storage of tires, is that customary? Is it safe to store tires in a storage like that? Will it have any ventilation? I'm just wondering if could be a potential fire code or anything like that. I don't know anything about tires and storage, so I'm just really asking.
Yes, ma'am. Can I go back to your previous question first?
Sure.
And I get to the last one. The requirements that Mr. Andrew put up, the fixing of the gate, that's part of the plan, no problem. Removing of the old signage is part of the plan, no problem. I agree that the sign on the street is out of conformity, so it needs to come down. That's part of the plan. Removing the leftover materials, I spoke about that with Ms. Johnson. That's part of the plan. Restriping the parking lot, of course, is part of the plan, because I addressed it already with the handicap parking. And adding the stop bars is also part of the plan. Okay, so that all those things that conditions that you added, I'm okay with, Ms. Armstrong. The question about the tires, I'm willing to work with the planning department on what they see best for that to work. Point blank period. If that's what they want to do, I'm okay with a new tradition to make it look great. I don't wanna have my tires on the front lot, ever. So, whatever we can work out, I'm okay with that.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Any more questions? Any more questions for Mr. Mitchell? I believe this is a public hearing. I would like to open up for public hearing at this time, 3-minute limit. Ms. Bostic, come over to the podium, Ms. Bostic. And we know your name, but can you state it for us and give your address?
Brenda Booth Bostic, that is my full name. Is that it? You want my address?
No, you good.
Okay.
You good.
I just wanted to
you
tell
and our
Prentice
system.
that I really appreciate him investing in the city and trying to make things look good. And he is 100% right. The weeds down there at this building that he's discussing, it looked awful. I don't know if y'all saw it. It was horrible. And so I just want to tell you thank you, Prentice, in public. Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bostic. Will there be anybody else for the public hearing? Come on up. This is concerning the tire shop?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you were just concerning this case.
Okay, just concern this.
All right, anybody else? Public hearing now closed. Alderman, do we have a motion?
Mayor, I move that we accept case number 2025-098, the conditional use permit request for a motor vehicle service and minor repair at 2484 Goodman Road West with the conditions 1 through 5 and potentially 6, and that the applicant is willing to work with our planning commission.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Armstrong, motion made by Alderwoman Johnson. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor.
Do we have any discussion?
Mayor. When she said number 6, I know we talked about two things there. Number 1 was the driveway off of Hurt Road, and number 2 was the tires. So I'm just trying to figure out what, you didn't say what number 6 was, or do we need to add a number 6 and 7? Andrew?
I would love clarification. I think 6 and 7, I'm not going to tell the board what to do, but whichever one y'all do, or both, is perfectly fine. We did talk about the applicant expanding the Hurt Road entrance to be within the driveway ordinance specifications. And then we talked about a plan submitted to us for the storage of tires on the property. And also one more thing, number 5 has an or. I would like some clarification just for enforcement purposes on if the board wants to see the concrete curb installed around the entire lot, or if the concrete stop bars will be good enough for the board.
Which one would work for you, Mr. Mitchell? You got an or there. You got a choice. Stop bars? Okay.
And can we also say, just in case he changes his mind, he will be in contact with Mr. Andrew, because remember, he's just now getting these. So we want to be sure that he's comfortable with these and not just saying it on the spot, because we're asking him as well.
Mr. Mitchell, are you comfortable with all these recommendations?
Sure, in front of everybody.
I think we can work it out either way.
Thank you, Mr.
I want the property to look really good, so whatever we gotta do to make it work.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Thank you.
Mayor, can I amend my motion?
Yes, ma'am.
So we accept this with the amendments 1 through 5, 5 being that he will install concrete stop bars at the end of every parking space. He will also work to have the Hurt Road entrance up to code. And for number 7, also work with the planning commissioner on the storage and/or removal of tires.
Alderwoman Armstrong, do you still second?
I still second that motion.
All right, we already had our discussion. Any more discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Aye.
Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Smith,
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderman Bostick.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving to our next case, 2025-102. Andrew?
Thank you. This case is a request by Top of Mississippi Parking LLC to rezone the parcel at 769 Southwest Access Drive from C4 and PBP to M1. So we have the aerial view of the property. I put up 2 images here. That first one is more zoomed out, and that second one is more zoomed in. So this parcel is at the intersection of Interstate Boulevard and Southwest Access Drive. A more broad scope of view shows that this is essentially at the intersection of Interstate Boulevard and Goodman Road West, which is the first major intersection coming off of I-55. And that's going to be important for later in the presentation. So the next image is more zoomed in. And then up on the screen there, we have the zoning layer as shown in DeSoto County GIS. The parcel consists, right now the parcel consists of 2 different zones. It is rare to see this and technically permissible, but it's generally considered bad practice to split the zoning like this on the same piece of property, as it can eventually cause many conflicts for landowners and cities in the future. The majority of this parcel is zoned C4, while the southeast corner of the parcel is zoned PBP. The intent of the applicant is to rezone this parcel to M1 in order to obtain a conditional use permit, which is in a separate and later case, for the use listed in the use chart as semi-parking lot, secured and guarded.
Mayor, hey, Andrew, could you discuss to the public what that PBP stands for?
Yes, it's a planned business park. It's kind of a interesting, unique zoning. Planned business park in Horn Lake has traditionally been used to be friendly to warehouses, large. PBP is generally zoned for very large properties that has big buildings, big warehouses, distribution, manufacturing, or really whatever is of that type. This side of, I guess, this side of the city, close to I-55, a lot of that is planned business park. So I kind of hope that answers your question there. It's more, it's friendly towards lots of different uses of, I guess I said it, yeah, distribution, warehouses, big lot, big movement of large vehicles, things of that sort.
Andrew, did you finish your presentation?
No, but that was totally okay, I promise.
Come on back in. Come on back in.
Yeah.
Back in.
No, that was a really good question. But yeah, we can get into the zoning. Once I get a minute, I can pull up the zoning use chart on my phone if anyone's interested, and I can go through the specific uses. I just didn't have them memorized fully in my head. So for the planning staff review, the Code of Ordinances sets the following requirements for rezoning. So an applicant for an amendment of the official zoning map shall have the responsibility to demonstrate the appropriateness of the change based on the following criteria. Letter A, to how the proposed amendment would conform to the comprehensive plan and its related elements as provided under section 17-1-9 of the Mississippi Code. Letter B, why the existing zone district classification of the property in question is inappropriate or improper. Letter C, what major economic, physical, or social changes, if any, have occurred in the vicinity of the property in question that were not anticipated by the comprehensive plan and have substantially altered the basic character of the area, which make the proposed amendment to the official zoning map appropriate. And letter D, demonstrate the public need for the proposed zone district amendment. So the applicant has submitted a letter stating his answers to the questions above. And so we have provided a screenshot of those responses. And so if anyone wants to go back to them, we can. And actually, I'll just read through them. It's just 4 short ones here. The responses are that the rezoning will give travelers to Horn Lake a place to park while visiting. For number 2, currently 18-wheeler parking spaces are only allowed in M1 zoning. And number 3, no major changes have occurred. And number 4, visiting semi-truck drivers need a place to park with ample and easy access to the I-55 and I-69 interstate corridors. Now, as far as the planning department's review of this, the planning staff has also reviewed these criteria to help with the reviews by the Planning Commission and the Board of Aldermen. The minutes of the Planning Commission meeting is provided below in a different section. This section will provide the findings from the planning staff's review in order to assist the Board of Aldermen with its review. So, regarding letter A, the current comprehensive plan does not provide clear guidance on the appropriateness of the request to rezone to M1. And I put in here, please see the screenshots below of the future land use map in the comprehensive plan. This calls for almost all of the eastern side of Horn Lake to have commercial land uses. However, the city has clearly demonstrated over the past couple of decades that much of the area should instead be developed as the industrial part of the city, as evidenced by the multitude of large warehouses in the red area that were built since this plan was adopted. Reading the breakdown in that screenshot that says DeSoto Commons, you can see under that underline, it says that the uses in the commercial zones should be retail, office/medical, research and development, warehouse/distribution, and light manufacturing. So this future land map, in our opinion, contradicts itself by including warehouses, distribution, and light manufacturing as acceptable commercial uses. Furthermore, when looking at the use chart on all acceptable uses in M1 versus commercial zones, there's a lot of overlap. So basically what I'm saying is, up here on the screen, this is a screenshot of our current comprehensive plan. Our current comprehensive plan, which was approved in 2003, it is showing that all the red area is where Horn Lake should build its commercial, and that gray area, kind of towards the left bottom of the screen, that 2003 plan is calling for all that gray area to be where the industrial uses are going. But I'm saying the plan kind of contradicts itself, because if you read that DeSoto Commons list on the side, inside the red it includes warehouse, distribution, and light manufacturing. So between the red and the gray, there's a lot of crossover of industrial uses. And our point of view at the planning department is the industrial uses really should not have been planned for the center of the city. The industrial uses should have been planned for closer to the I-55 area, because this is where the tractor trailers are going to have immediate access to and from the interstate. And this is another reason why Interstate Boulevard was built so giant with multiple lanes, and that's why it was called Interstate Boulevard. So that's just our point of view. So in regarding letter B, planning staff must note that the applicant is intending to request a conditional use permit for 18-wheeler parking in addition to parking for other large vehicles. And the only way he can get that approval is if the property is zoned to M1. As the planning department sees that there is a strong need for this use at this exact location, planning staff agrees that the current zoning should reflect the need of the land use. Regarding letter C, it seems evident that since the adoption of the current comprehensive plan, the city has always intended for more intense industrial uses to be concentrated north of Nail Road and in between Hurt Road and Highway 51, while pushing for the more commercial and lighter industrial uses to be nearly everything east of Highway 51. This has not exactly happened according to plan, depending on how you interpret that map. More importantly, though, it appears that the city underestimated the amount of 18-wheelers that this would result in attracting and keeping. Our future land use map, as well as our current zoning use chart, certainly do not help solve the dilemma of what to do with all of our large trucks. But rezoning to M1 certainly seems to be the simplest and most appropriate answer. Regarding letter D, the public need has already been demonstrated for years, as this parcel has been used for large truck parking, which is allowed in M1 but not in C4 or PBP. And there have not been any notable adverse effects due to this land use. Planning staff and code enforcement have received multiple questions and complaints regarding the lack of legal truck parking in the city. So having a zone where truckers can legally park would serve a missing need in the city. So those are the review criteria that the planning staff has addressed. We posted the Planning Commission meeting minutes there if anyone wants to go and look at that. And then for our conclusion, we have, although the majority of the Planning Commission voted to deny the rezoning request, the Planning Department staff recommends the Board of Aldermen to do the opposite based on the findings as presented by the planning staff in this report. Planning staff finds it acceptable to rezone the parcel from C4 and PBP to M1. And so we have the possible motion there. That concludes the presentation.
Thank you, Andrew. We really appreciate you clearing that up for us. Do anybody on the board have any questions for Mr. Andrew? Alderwoman Johnson?
Mr. Andrew, is this area already being used for parking by trucks?
Yes, it is currently being used for large vehicle and truck parking. I have the screenshot of a Google Maps. Actually, maybe that was on the other presentation. But if you look on Google Maps right now and do that Street View drive-through, you can see a bunch of tractor trailers parked. And when I drive around the city, occasionally I'll see tractor trailers parked there.
So it's pretty much been used throughout the years. I know many of them stay at the Drury Inn, they eat right there, and correct?
Yes, and to be clear, this has not been on my radar until we got the application. But just looking back in memory, I do vaguely remember seeing trucks parked there. Currently, there's a sign there. It was never approved, but there's a sign there that actually is posted on site that says truck parking.
So they've been parking there with a sign that says truck parking, but it's illegal zone, okay? Okay.
Yes, and to be clear, based on our records, all the research I've done, I have not come up with any instance of anyone getting permission to do that. But if you're asking strictly about the land use, it's being used for truck parking right now.
Thank you. Alderman Bledsoe?
Two wrongs don't make a right, just because they've been using it for 10 years. They've been using a lot of things around here for 10 years that ain't right. That should have been changed years ago. Now that it's brought to our attention, there's a lot of people in that area who don't want to rezone. Some of the hotels and stuff I talked to, they didn't want to rezone because they're full anyway. They don't need trucks. Goodman Road and Interstate Boulevard, you've been there at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, you can't get through there. Now you add 18-wheelers in there that's turning left or turning right, you got a big problem. I think I'm looking for another way to get home. And now when they're fixing to do the interstate, tear up to the 4-lane, you're definitely not going to get through there. So, I just don't, think you ought to use that property there. And I talked to the man that owns the property now, that he could put probably a nice business there and make a lot more money than parking. The city would make money. I don't think we'll make a lot of money on parking lot. I really don't. I've never been in the parking business, but that's my feeling. And, you know, and it's been, like you said, that ain't the only parking place we got that's illegal that's going on right now. And I'm gonna get with the mayor and the code people and let them know about, or behind, Phillips 66, that 18-wheelers that park on grass back there that changes oil and tires and stuff and leave them there. So that's another thing that we didn't get a long time ago, because we didn't have a top-notch code enforcement like we got now. But in my opinion, we don't need that there. We need a nice business. I'd like to have a catfish house so I can go get some good catfish or something like that. And the city would make money, and I'm just against it.
Mr. Andrew, there's an M1 property right across the street, correctly?
Yes, let me pull up my image here. Across the street, across Interstate Boulevard, on the north side, on the northwest corner of Expressway Drive and Interstate Boulevard, there's an M1 zone property.
Okay. I'm glad we have Mr. Flanagan here tonight. I know he's coming up, we're going to be talking to him later on, but it's good to have him because on Expressway Drive, that road is ripped apart because of trucks parking there. So trucks are actually going to those industrial businesses, parking overnight, and because of that road, the whole right side pretty much is falling off into the ditch. Also, many of these truckers actually stay in these hotels over there, correctly? They stay in the hotels. They also eat there also. So the question would be, if we have an M1 property already across the street, would that cause cause any changes to the neighborhood? I mean, the community?
Well, it's currently being used as truck parking, so rezoning it to M1 for truck parking would not cause a change to the character of the neighborhood, if that answers your question.
It answers my question. Any other questions about Alderman Board?
No, I have a comment, though.
Alderwoman Armstrong?
In a typical real-world scenario, if it were me, I would not want a truck parking lot right there. Further down would be ideal, but this is not the way that is right now. And it's been happening that way for over 10 years. Chief, has there been any disturbances or reports on that area?
You're catching me blind, but if you're asking if there's disturbance caused in that general area with the hotels, and then you're mixing the restaurants, you're mixing the 18-wheeler parking in that area as a whole, yes. Yes, ma'am, between just the heavy traffic, nighttime hours, and it just gets so congested, so you got road rage, the mixture of the hotels, people on foot coming and going from those hotels to those restaurants, so possibility of it, yes, ma'am. If I can't, just right off the top of my head, I can't say a number, but that's a busy area for us, so yes, ma'am.
So we've had complaints about truckers. I guess that's the general question that I should have asked. Has it been any reports with regard to the truckers being in that area?
We've gotten complaints of the 18-wheeler parking in that area. Belinda's probably the better source for those. I know we've taken complaints of the parking just in general in that area.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to add that when we first initially started that, we were told that the hotel put the sign up and that was their property. We knew nothing any different from that, and we were to understand that they did their approval. So it's backtracking a little bit for us, trying to figure out who, when, where, the approval. So there's questions.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Alderwoman Armstrong? Any other questions? Board? Mr. Andrew, do you have any question?
And just to add to that, it's a good point there. I would like to ask the applicant, if I may, who he bought the property from, because as Belinda just mentioned, it may have been the hotel that put the sign up there, and I believe the hotel did own that lot before this applicant. And I'm not going to speculate either way, but it would make sense that the hotel would have wanted the truck parking there so they wouldn't lose their customers, but it also gave a space to get the trucks away from their property but close enough to still attract the customers.
That's how they kept from tearing up their property. Correct.
And so I don't know the backstory behind how they sold that off or any of that.
All right. We would like to have the property owner come up.
If it was, in fact, them that owned it in the past.
Good to see you again, Mr. Mitchell. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Mitchell? Alderman Mustard.
President, if this wasn't approved to rezone to M4, you've already purchased this property, correct? This belongs to you now?
I prefer not to make that public declaration because
No, that's fine. If you don't, I'm just saying, if it doesn't go through, I didn't want you to be out a bunch of money, but if it doesn't go through to rezone and you own that property and still C4, you can still run a legitimate business there because you're opening them up all, a couple fireworks stands, 2, next year might be 3, and now you've got the auto place, you got top of Mississippi, what.
speak life into me, Mr. Bossy. I appreciate it.
Hey, I am. I like it. I like
Soaping it up.
I like it. I'm just saying, I can understand everybody's concern, and I just want to know I didn't want you to be out if it doesn't go through.
I believe in investing in Horn Lake, period. First
I
and
understand
foremost.
that. I
So,
believe that. I understand.
but as a smart business person, a risk is a risk, no matter how big it is or small. So I appreciate the concern. I do want to just make one statement that I know has been said over and over and over again. This property has been used for this specific purpose for a very long time. All I want to do is come into compliance. That's my mantra, y'all. It's been that way for a long time. Come into compliance. I'm not asking for anything more than that. That's all I want to do. Come into compliance. I'm not trying to do anything different. This area was designed for this purpose. It's Interstate Boulevard. It's high traffic. It's 18-wheelers. It's commercial traffic. It is tourism as well. And I do have letters of support I can show to you guys from the neighboring hotels that are in support of this as my business neighbors. They need it, not just for 18-wheelers, but there are tourism buses that come in, okay, those big charter buses. They need somewhere to park as well. So it's not just about the big rig. It's a tourism and economic impact as well with this. It serves a purpose for the good. Okay, and again, this area was designed for this particular purpose. It's an industrial area. I agree with Ms. Armstrong. It would be nice somewhere else, but this is where it's at. This is where they come eat here, they go over to Target and shop, all these things in this area, and they need somewhere to park. If not, they're going to continue to tear up the roads in that area, and guess who's going to be on the hook for those roads being torn up? The taxpayers. So, but this property's been utilized for that, and I hope you guys would approve it. I really would appreciate it.
Any more questions from the board?
Mayor.
Alderwoman Armstrong.
Mr. Mitchell, can you speak to how you're going to provide security for the parking lot?
Yes, ma'am, of course. There is a preliminary plan But I guess the description of it, there is a armed, gate that's gonna be mechanically in control. Okay, so, it's sort of when you go downtown Memphis and you do scan to pay, okay? So it's gonna be that same plan. Okay, I haven't finalized it all, but again, with any project, I will be in close contact with the planning director. I'm not gonna just do stuff and they're not on board with it, bring it back in front of you guys, whatever approvals I need to work with him, I have no problem, but, secured by armed gate, if you don't know, I've already installed, lighting around the property, so, there was never any lighting there, so it's very well lit right now, okay? And chief, that may help, with, vandalism, anything, who knows, right? So, again, it's an investment, and I'm investing in Horn Lake.
Will there be any guards or a physical body there?
There will be a physical body overnight, and not a guard at all times, but I'm in talks now with a guard that will do visits periodically to the property. But once I get moving with the project, I will have cameras on the property at all times, live security cameras on the property that I can obtain footage and record it.
Thank you.
Alderman Bledsoe?
I didn't hear, would there be a wooden fence around it to keep it from looking so bad from Interstate Boulevard? Because when you look over and you see 18-wheelers, you think of a truck stop. But is there a thing about it, putting a wooden fence or anything? Because we had another one that we were doing on Dancy Boulevard. We made them put a wooden fence all the way around it, and they paved it and everything else. But it didn't turn out to come to fruition.
If I may point out, we got two separate cases for the same property tonight. The case right now is a rezoning. The very next case after this is the conditional use request for the 18-wheeler parking. So I know it's kind of awkward what we're doing right now, but the applicant wanted, both of these cases to go ahead and be presented. So right now it's just the rezoning. This whole case is just about taking it from PBP and C4 to M1, which would allow for all the different uses under that M1 column in the use chart. Now, to answer that question, that's actually going to be for the next case.
The conditional use.
Yes, the conditional use case does address the submitted site plan as well as answers to all the conditional use criteria, one of which being a fence that we are requesting to be required to satisfy that guard and secured clause in the ordinance. And so what we had put was for a recommendation for a wrought iron fence with brick columns surrounding the entire parking area. Now, the reason that we were going to propose that in this conditional use case is because originally we thought of recommending a wooden fence around the whole property.
Andrew, can we stick with the zoning?
Yes, we could.
Let's do the zoning first, but everybody get confused. Hold on for just a second. All right, concerning the zoning, is there any more questions?
I just want to ask, tell me who are the hotel owners that wrote letters of support, and read one of them for me.
I'm Waveland. I would actually want to read those and have them part of the record, if that's okay. They don't make sense, right?
It's okay.
This is going to be for IT.
Okay.
Or actually, no, sorry. I don't have any ability to do it here. Okay, so it is.
I can't. Just
I didn't know this was coming. What is it? That's a flash drive, or is it a letter?
Alderman Johnson, do you prefer that we go through all this?
I can.
Alderman Armstrong?
What is it? A letter?
Still want to see the letter?
I would like to hear who the owners of the hotels were, and then also read a letter of support for this applicant.
So you only have them on your disk drive?
No, I can read them out loud.
Just read it out loud.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Daniel,
We're just gonna read it, Daniel, for time's sake.
Daniel.
We're just gonna read it for time's sake.
Cancel that. He's gonna read it from his laptop.
It states letter of support, August 18, 2025, to Honorable Mayor Jimmy Stokes, City of Horn Lake Board of Aldermen, Alderwomen, Horn Lake, Mississippi, from Ash Patel, S&A Lodging LLC. Subject, 769 Southwest Access Drive. Dear Honorable Mayor Jimmy Stokes, City of Horn Lake Board of Aldermen and Alderwomen, I am writing a letter of support for Prentice Mitchell that is requesting approval before Horn Lake Board of Aldermen. I believe this approval will be great for businesses in Horn Lake. As you know, the city of Horn Lake is experiencing an economic growth trajectory which brings newcomers, visitors, and tourism. With this new growth, there is a need for temporary transit parking. As a longtime owner of the hotel and hospitality industry, my business sees tourism charter buses on a consistent basis. Having an additional parking pad for charter buses is essential for my business. The current parking pad is located at 769 Southwest Access Drive that has been in use for several years and is a perfect location. Approving this request is a win for the city of Horn Lake. In conclusion, I deeply support the efforts of Prentice Mitchell and request your vote of approval. Yours sincerely, Ash Patel, S&H Lodging, LLC, La Quinta Inn. That's one. The next one says letter of support, Econo Lodge, August 18, 2025, Honorable Mayor Jimmy Stokes, from Econo Lodge and Suites, 6868 Interstate Boulevard, Horn Lake, Mississippi. Dear Honorable Mayor Jimmy Stokes, City of Horn Lake Board of Aldermen, this letter is in support of Mr. Mitchell. That is before the Horn Lake Board of Aldermen. Horn Lake is growing, which brings an increased flow of commerce. Commerce is transported on semi-trucks, and my customers who visit my hotel drive semi-trucks. My customers need a place to park. Approving this request will benefit my business. I deeply support the efforts of Prentice Mitchell and request your vote of approval. Yours sincerely, Rick, Econo Lodge and Suites.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
All right, Alderman Bledsoe?
The only reason I brought all up about the parking, because somebody brought it up, and that's why I started. I didn't want to be left out. I mean, they were talking about the zone, and if you don't want the parking lot, then you'll say zone it. So that was my thing. I was trying to do one thing, but we ended up doing two at one time. We've done that before.
All right, sticking to the zoning, everybody. Focus. All right, any more questions from the board?
Mayor.
Alderman McKinney.
So because, well, if we change this to M1 from C4 or whatever, and that area does it not have M1, or does it have one parcel that's M1 and most of it is C4?
Yes, if I'm following correctly, at that possible motion, it's a mistake on the C4 to M1. It should be C4 and PVP to M1. The request is to zone that entire parcel to the M1 zoning.
And changing it to M1 does not affect anything negatively in that area, correct?
Well, I mean, it's just it's basically saying if this piece of property is zoned M1, there's a long list of uses that would be permitted on the lot or and conditional use permitted on the lot. So the second this gets rezoned to that, the applicant or the owner of the lot would be allowed to do anything on that list if it's permitted, and then have to come to the board and request anything that's a conditional use permit. And it just so happens that same time, same night, the same applicant is going to request a conditional use permit. If it's approved for M1s, if this gets rezoned to M1, the applicant will then present a request for conditional use parking, conditional use permit for 18-wheeler parking.
So if we change it to M1 or whatever, he has to come back to do the parking lot or whatever. So if he wanted to do something else, he would still have to come before the board and ask permission to do whatever.
Yes,
else.
and it depends if it's listed in the use chart as permitted use or conditional use.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions from the board? All right, thank you. We're going to now open up the public hearing. Three minutes.
Is that all?
Just
I
for this case, for the trucking case,
Sir?
for the zoning case, yes. This is for the zoning case.
Yeah. Keep hearing about 18-wheelers. And I trucked myself. I was running coast to coast, border to border, and coast to coast. Truckers need parking, and they need it bad. However, there's two things that has not come up in this meeting. First of all, idling time. Trucker gets in there, and is he gonna idle all night? Or is he gonna have a 15-minute idling time? And second, how are we gonna control the ladies of the night? That's gonna be there too. So, anyway, that's up to y'all, but that's two things that needs to be discussed.
You know trucking, don't you?
Huh?
You said you know trucking, huh?
Oh, yeah. But it draws it like honey that flies to honey. I was down at Coldwater the other night, and they got a new truck stop, and I guarantee there's two ladies of the night working.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon.
So it's gonna be there.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon.
Thank you.
All right.
Calvin Freeman, 1398 Arbor Lake Drive North. Whatever you decide, board, like the guy presented that there's always been a parking lot. Well, if you don't approve it tonight, would he be able to come back and revisit it? And y'all do a survey, what y'all saying about the street road, the taxpayer, that prevent him from making it out of a parking lot? But it's just unfortunate to hear that Phillips 66 not in compliance with that either. And I hate to see everybody turn with a blind eye with that. But if we could postpone it or what, and revisit the taxpayer money on that matter, then I would not consider him having it. But if it's gonna be something that's gonna save the city money and also gonna bring money into the city, I'm all for it. But like I said, I see cars parked at Hardee's and everywhere else. Ever since he had it blocked off, they own 51 parking. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Anyone else?
Kirby Carter, 6465 Cornwall, Horn Lake. Something that was asked in the Planning Commission meeting that I didn't hear brought up tonight was there's plans for development from MDOT off of Goodman Road to turn onto Interstate Boulevard there too to help with traffic flow and stuff. And Interstate Boulevard's supposed to be expanded over to Pepper Chase into South Haven. So that increase of semis and things going down there, it's going to be increase just with the traffic plans that are planned. So it was like Alderwoman Armstrong, I agree with that. And there's going to be a lot more traffic coming through too. So those are different things to think about. So as they all said, there is a need, but also there's going to be a lot more traffic flow and stuff too. So there's a lot of things to think about and stuff. So I just wanted to bring that out because I didn't see any of that up there in this stuff when they were scrolling through. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Anyone else? For the public hearing, anyone else for the public hearing? Last time. Public hearing closed. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Boston.
after review of case number 2025-102, I recommend that the board approves the request by Top of Mississippi Parking LLC to rezone the property at 769 Southwest Access Drive from C4 and PVP to M1.
Motion by Alderman Boston. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Alderwoman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Carter.
Alderman Bostick,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Smith,
Aye.
Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Nay.
Alderman McKinney,
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. Motion has passed. All right, Andrew, Planning Department, case number 2025-090. Also, Mr. Mitchell, look like it.
Okay, same location. This is a request by Top of Mississippi Parking to use the parcel at 769 Southwest Access Drive as a semi-parking lot secured and guarded. The reason I have that in quotation marks is because that is the exact wording used in our zoning use chart. So the applicant intends for it to be open for business for commercial vehicles of various types, which have limited places to park around Horn Lake. Those vehicles would include 18-wheelers, utility vehicles, commercial box vans, buses, or anything similar that has limited options around the city due to their sizes. The idea for this proposal came from the fact that this lot has already proven the need for this use, which is why, in this case, I've added that Google Maps image below. And that is a screenshot. Can you scroll down just a little bit? That's a screenshot from earlier this year that Google took, showing the current use of the land. And so we have in there that this lot is currently an unregulated eyesore, and the applicant is attempting to bring this property into conformity with the city ordinances. So on the next page, we have the aerial view of the property. And so same imagery there. One's a zoomed out view, one's a zoomed in view, showing the proximity to I-55 and other businesses and land uses nearby. Next page, we have the zoning. So in that previous case, it was, I guess technically still right now, zone PBP and C4, but with that rezoning approval case from a few minutes ago, now this is M1 zoning, which now the use is allowed as a conditional use permit in M1. So we can kind of skip through this. Although maybe I'll mention this last bit of the paragraph here. I just wanted to make a note just so everyone's clear. So the previous case was voted a yes for the rezoning for M1. And so just for clarification, this conditional use permit request, for valid reasons, if the board mentions those valid reasons, this could be turned down. So you could have a no on the rezoning and a no on the conditional use, or a yes on the rezoning and a yes on the conditional use, or a yes on the rezoning and a no on the conditional use. But as long as it was not a no on the rezoning and a yes on the conditional use. So you have a choice here. So going down to the next page, we have the submitted site plan. Now we understand this is a generalized site plan that the applicant has turned into us, and we'll address that in a minute. So for the planning staff review, for all conditional use cases, the Planning Commission had to determine whether or not this will substantially increase traffic hazards or congestion, substantially increase fire hazards, adversely affect the character of the neighborhood, adversely affect the general welfare of the city, overtax public utilities or community facilities, and be in conflict with the comprehensive plan. Now, the Board of Aldermen is tasked with reviewing a different set of criteria, and it states that the Board of Aldermen shall not grant a conditional use permit unless satisfactory provisions have been made concerning the following: off-street parking and loading areas, refuse and service areas, utilities with reference to locations, availability, and compatibility, screening and buffering with reference to type, dimensions, and character, required yards and other open space, general compatibility with adjacent properties and other property in the zone district, and any other provisions deemed applicable by the governing authority. So the planning department required that the applicant submit statements addressing all criteria. We have that copied and pasted on the next page. And those are the applicant's responses to all criteria. Going to page 9, we have the criteria that was presented to the planning commission, and the planning staff's review of those planning commission criteria. And so, in summary of that, the planning commission did not find anything that conflicted with the aforementioned criteria. And for more details, you can reference the minutes we have posted here. So, I guess down at the bottom of page 9, in reviewing letter A for the Board of Aldermen, planning staff needs to see more detail of the parking lot plan in order to recommend approval. First, although it is implied that the entire lot will be paved, we need to see confirmation on the plan that it will be paved. The Code of Ordinance states, except as provided herein, all vehicular areas shall be sealed surface construction such as hot mix asphalt or Portland cement concrete. Brick or pavers, when professionally installed, may be used if approved by the planning director. Gravel or loose fill may not be used. The site plan given does not include the dimensions of the parking area. We will need to see the dimensions of each parking space as well as the dimensions of the driveway entrance and the entire lot itself. The Code of Ordinances states, all permanent and approved off-street parking spaces shall be marked by durable painted lines, tiles, curbs, or other means approved by the building official that clearly designates individual spaces and distinguishes such spaces from maneuvering, loading, open sales, or storage, or other areas on the lot. The parking spots must be marked. Additionally, the Code of Ordinances states all off-street parking areas shall provide a suitable method of wheel stops to prevent encroachment of any portion of a parked vehicle over the property line or within designated landscape areas. So we will require either a full concrete curb at least 6 inches in height to surround the entire paved area, which is the preferred choice, or the concrete stop bars bolted to the end of each parking space. So in reviewing letter B, planning staff has not received any plans regarding trash receptacles. Dumpster is not necessary for this land use, as there will likely not be large bags continually deposited on site. However, it makes sense for at least one trash can, ideally a few or more, to be placed on site in locations that will be seen and used. We will note that it is common in parking areas for truckers to become messy, and so providing trash cans will help reduce the frequency of littering. We are totally open to the board demanding that there be a dumpster, large trash cans, mini trash cans. We don't care the type or style of trash receptacle. We just want to make sure it's appropriate for the land use and that this does not result in any trash being left on the lot. So, in reviewing letter C, planning staff does not see any reason to expect this land use to put any strain on utilities. However, we feel it necessary to note that this parking lot will be placed over a sewer easement that runs diagonally across the lot as shown on the plat. We have to note this same easement also runs diagonally across the driveway and parking lot of the neighboring parcel, which is also on the same plat, and that's the hotel parking lot. So the same sewer easement runs under that hotel parking lot that goes through this lot being presented tonight. And with that being said, we have not been aware of any issues that have ever occurred on that developed lot. The applicant just simply needs to understand that the easement exists and that Horn Lake Water Association has the right, as they do with any other property with an easement, that it has the right to access it at any time for any reason. And then in reviewing letter D, the planning staff believes that screening will be necessary for this site, as the public may not want to see or hear the vehicles. Since the only mention of 18-wheeler parking in the zoning use chart is semi-parking lot secured and guarded, we are interpreting this to mean that every semi-parking lot must be secured and guarded. We did not find any specification on what this means, though. Planning staff believes that a fence, such as wooden fence with brick columns around the whole property, may serve as an aesthetically pleasing barrier that secures and guards the area while also blocking out many sights and sounds from nearby properties. However, in some ways, such as for crime prevention purposes, it may not be better to have the full wooden fence around. It may be better to have full visibility into the lot at all angles. So perhaps it may be better to be aesthetically pleasing at the same time to have a wrought iron fence with brick columns around the whole property, as this may satisfy the requirement of being secured and guarded while also keeping eyes on the area. It should also be noted that there are already some trees between the La Quinta Inn and Suites. So this can technically act as the buffer and screening between the truck parking and the hotel. There is certainly room on this parcel to add more trees to act as a sound and sight barrier to the hotel, but that space consists of a large hill that slopes down from the hotel to the drainage ditch, so it may not be feasible to plant a bunch of trees on that hill. In reviewing letter E, planning staff has concerns about the spacing on site. More clarification will be needed on the exact dimensions of the parking area. There needs to be adequate spacing for sidewalks along each street, and the current site plan does not reflect this. Also, we will need clarification on the exact area set aside for water collection and drainage. The applicant shows the eastern side of the parcel as being reserved for a detention pond, but we will need more detail on what is intended, as there's currently a hillside and a small drainage ditch leading to 2 storm drains. In reviewing letter F, planning staff believes that the proposed use is highly compatible with the surrounding area. At first glance, this may seem to be an odd request for the area, but when looking at the nearby businesses and the location of this lot, it makes more sense to have large truck parking in this exact location. This lot is centered right between 4 hotels, so any driver who parks in the lot can have a very easy walk to any of those hotels. The road it fronts is designed specifically for 18-wheelers, as it was created to take in those 18-wheelers immediately off of I-55 to access the warehouses that have been built in the nearby industrial area. Furthermore, the fact that this lot naturally grew into an unapproved truck parking area with no known complaints to the city shows that this use is highly compatible with the surrounding area. And then for letter G, that's open to interpretation for whatever the board wants to bring up. And then I have the Planning Commission meeting minutes posted here. And then for our conclusion, we have planning staff agrees that the land use is highly compatible with the surrounding area. The need for large vehicle parking in Horn Lake has been apparent for many years, and this exact location has been one of the natural collection points for these vehicles for years. Planning staff has no issue with allowing the proposed land use at this location. The hesitancy we have is with the site plan. Very often we receive conditional use permit requests for sites that have already been built out and have already gone through the regular site plan review process. So there's often nothing to fix on those sites. Since this site is requesting a conditional use permit for something that is not yet built out, the site therefore has not been through the regular site plan review process. As this submitted site plan was lacking the details that we would typically receive for new builds, the Board of Aldermen may approve the conditional use permit with many specific conditions attached to ensure that the site plan complies with all design ordinances. And so for our possible motion, we have that the Board of Aldermen approves the conditional use permit for semi-parking lot secured and guarded on the condition that the applicant submits to the planning department a more detailed site plan which the developer shall build out to show, number 1, a wrought iron fence with brick columns surrounding the entire parking area. Number 2, the location of one or more trash receptacles on the property, which we're requesting the board specifies. Number 3, confirmation that the entire parking area will be paved using material required by ordinance. Number 4, striping for each parking space and all measurements thereof. Number 5, 6-inch curb around the entire parking area with adequate gaps or drains for water runoff, or the concrete stop bars bolted to the back of each parking space. Number 6, 5-foot wide sidewalks along the sides of Interstate Boulevard and Southwest Access Drive. And number 7, details on the detention pond area, as well as details on the stormwater inlets from the parking lot to the detention pond, which shall be approved by the city engineer. And so that is what we have for the conditions, and that concludes the presentation.
All right, board, do you have any questions for Andrew? Alderman Bostic?
Yeah, on the motion that have the possible motion, it says semi-parking lot, and on his letter of intent, it states parking will consist of 18-wheelers, bob trucks, bucket trucks, and motor coaches. But on the possible motion, it just says semi-parking. Does that semi-parking cover all of those that he actually requested for?
Yes. Now, if there's any other legal reason as to why we cannot interpret it that way, please let me know. The reason I have it in quotation marks is the semi-parking lot, comma, secured and guarded. That quotation is pulled directly from our zoning use chart. So when you scroll down the zoning use chart, there's no other categories that specify type of or what vehicles can or can't park there. And so if you go into a different part of our zoning use chart, there's another spot that says parking lot, and then the only other type of similar land use is this semi-parking lot, comma, secured and guarded. So what we wanted to do was present this conditional use permit request with the exact wording in that chart.
I just want to make sure it covered his request of what he specified, 4 or 5 different types of vehicles. That's all.
Yes, sir. The way we're seeing it, and anyone can, I think it's fair to disagree if there is a disagreement. We're seeing the 18-wheeler parking out of all the parking as being theoretically the most intense, worst type of parking on a parking lot. So if you want to, I would lump in that if we approve the semi-parking lot, that we would also be allowing these, large utility trucks, these box vans, these buses also.
Andrew, we got an attorney up here. She make a whole lot of money to make them kind of decisions, man.
I didn't want to put her on the spot. But,
Okay, good evening, Mayor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that it's just for clarity, Alderman Bostic, I think that would be better to actually list out what his request is versus us making assumptions, because at this point, this is the board that's here now, but this is for the minutes going forward, and just for clarity in the minutes, I think it would be good to list out what his actual request was, so that it's not any mistake as to what you all are approving.
All right, any more questions? Alderman Bledsoe?
Oh, what did the planning commission vote?
The planning commission recommended approval 5-1.
All right, any more questions for Mr. Andrew? Alderman Langston?
All right, so one of the things that you mentioned was that there wasn't enough space to put like a bunch of trees or anything on there. Is there other things that can be used around there that could possibly beautify it, other kind of plants or trees that we can put in there?
I mean,
a big brick thing sitting there.
typically, fencing and trees is the most common way to have any buffering as far as sounds or sights. We had someone mention truck idling. Trees can certainly help with that. They're not going to completely cancel it out. And then wooden fences would just reflect the noise of truck idling.
So you're saying wood, but on the back of this, it has the brick homes with iron fence.
Yes, and when we thought about it more, we didn't want to completely wall off the truck parking. I know a lot of people don't want to see the trucks, but we were thinking, and forgive us for not, reaching out for a statement from the police department, but we were kind of hoping that requiring the wrought iron fence would provide eyes on the lot at all times. We think it would be better for everyone to see the cleanliness of the lot, what's going on the lot, all the good and bad on what's going on the lot. That way it can help the police department, it can help code enforcement, and we just think it would be safer. So it would certainly allow the sound to pass through, and maybe the ugliness of the site, but it would help with safety, we think.
All right, thank you.
Any more questions from Mr. Andrew from the board? All right, can we have the applicant come up?
And I mean, totally open to the police department making a statement on what they would prefer. I don't want this just to be all planning, determining everything.
Chief Pullen, did you have anything, Chief? Chief, did you want to add anything, Chief? All right. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Mitchell?
Mayor.
Alderman McKinney.
Yeah, I believe you said, Mr. Mitchell, that you were planning, I guess, later down the road or whatever, to put security cameras on the lot. So I guess that would help on the quote-unquote lady of the night issue. That you will have something that can probably deter that especially if you post on there that it's, the lot's being.
And I've already added extensive lighting all around that lot.
Okay.
So,
And also there's one entrance to it now, right? Are you still planning to do two, or does it?
and right now it's one, yes. Down the road, we're looking at the option of two. We definitely have an option of another way out.
All right, Attorney Griffin Willis.
Mr. Mitchell, thank you, first of all, for investing in the city of Horn Lake.
Yes, ma'am.
My question would be regarding this wrought iron fence and brick columns surrounding the entire parking area. Is that something that was a part of your plan, and is that feasible?
It is not a part of my plan. Again, I want to work with the city as much as possible, but I'm sure everybody probably knows that's a huge, huge, huge price tag.
I would think so.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I will have security there. The entrance is secured, cameras, lighting as well. And if I could address some of the conditions, if that's okay. Mayor?
Yes, sir, continue.
Okay, thank you. The dimensions of the parking spaces, yes. I will update the planning department prior to, we'll work together on that. Painting the parking spaces, yes. The wheel stops are concrete stops, concrete stop bars, yes. Dumpster, there will be a small commercial dumpster located in the back of the parking, hitting away. And of course, the lot will be cleaned continuously, so we won't have debris just sitting there for days. Secured entrance. If the planning department wants to see us plant some more trees somewhere, and we can work it out. The sidewalks, from my understanding, I think sidewalks are normally considered public property.
I can address that. Based on the view that we saw on the DeSoto County GIS, and I know the property lines aren't always accurate, but from what we saw, the property line, for some unusual reason, goes all the way to the street. So it's showing all private property, and it's not showing any space between your land and the actual road. So that's why we had that in there as one of the conditions. Because the space needs to be there regardless who eventually paves it out, but we wanted to make it clear that it would eventually get there somehow.
Okay, so yeah, the map, I guess, is a little wonky. I've had it surveyed. There are property lines out there, and the property line does not go out to the street. So I can update you with the
Okay,
survey.
would you know how many feet from, say, the curb to the property line?
I don't want to misspeak on it.
Okay.
But it doesn't extend to the street. So maybe 2 feet, 3 at the most. But I have this survey. I can work with you on the survey.
Mr. Mitchell, what kind of fence would be more feasible for you and put it? I bet you're ready to say none at all.
I mean, I don't want to put myself out there, Mayor.
Okay.
The fence is a iron fence. Steel is expensive. Hopefully we can come with something alternative. It will be secured, for sure. And I do think I understand the aesthetic looking of this property. You want to hide it, but seeing what's going on would be better, I believe, for law enforcement purposes. Along with a property owner as myself, that would make sure it's clean and aesthetically pleasing anyway. So.
And I would point out that we didn't see anything specifically requiring that the parking lot has to have a fence around it. There's nothing saying it has to have a fence around it, but it says secured and guarded. And so if there is some other alternative that the board can replace it with, then I would see that as, maybe being permissible. But what we came up with in the planning department was, a fence makes sense to us as far as that secured and guarded requirement.
I can do security and guarded, Mayor. It's going to be security and guarded.
Alderwoman Johnson?
Mr. Andrew, did we not have, and I know you said it before, the exact definition of secured and guarded, because it seems that it's up for everyone's interpretation. So we need to know exactly what secured and guarded mean before making any decisions on this.
Yeah, I could do one last check in the ordinance, but I have not come across a definition yet of that.
So not even in any of our documentation here at the city, there's no definition?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any more questions for Mr. Mitchell? Alderman Bledsoe?
We did come up with a conclusion, they're not gonna run their trucks all night long, right? Is that what you said, Andrew? They can't handle their trucks because it puts off fumes and everything. Is that what you said? I couldn't understand you.
So, no, we did not address that because we're more looking at the, the physical build out of that, and there's nothing that we came across specifying or limiting how long they can run. So if that wants to be a condition by the board, that's going to be on the Board of Aldermen to impose that. But on our review, we are not addressing that.
Okay, and one other thing. If something gets tore up over there like your fence, who's going to be responsible to fix it? 18-wheelers, you see sometimes they turn the curve and they don't quite make it, and they end up digging a ditch right there on the other side of the curve.
That's all on the landowner if they get a code enforcement violation.
I was just making sure because I don't want to be surprised.
Yes, sir. The code enforcement can always give violation notices and citations for damaged fences on properties.
Well, the big thing to me is idling the truck, because the fumes and stuff, they're gonna go somewhere where them hotels are, and a diesel stinks. So, you know, something needs to be done about that.
All right, Chief Linville?
Yeah, Mayor, if I could just ask one question, or maybe just something to clarify. I know they park trucks there now, but I guess my concerns is gonna be if we have hazardous material, propane trucks, gas trucks, all that stuff. I mean, they gotta park somewhere too, but normally we don't allow them to park in certain areas, so I don't know if that can be something in your thing. You have to put a sign up, they can't be parked there. Because that is a hazard for that to be sitting up there beside all them and something explode like a propane truck, gasoline truck, and all the other hazardous that goes up and down that highway.
Can I address the chief?
Yes, sir.
Chief, all money is not good money. And I have no problem restricting the type of truckers who can come in there. I don't want propane tanks. I don't, I got no problem with that, chief.
That's all I
Yes,
just
sir.
gonna ask, if that can be put in your note that they're not allowed to park there because of
Hazardous materials, I'm totally fine with that, chief.
That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief.
And if I may, that can be a condition added at the end to where we request from the fire department a list of everything they don't want to see, and then we can have the, hand that to the applicant.
Thank you, Andrew. Any more questions for Mr. Mitchell? Alderman Buster?
You're just tired of looking at me, ain't you? We used to have beautification projects here and helped out with planting trees and flowers around businesses and stuff, and it's something I'd like to, something we could do in this area right here to start that back up again and put that on your radar, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Buster. All right, any more questions? All right, we're gonna open up for the public. Public hearing now open.
I don't have to give my stuff again, right? Okay. I want to go back to where I talked about the increased traffic through there. I personally would much rather see not have Mr. Mitchell put a fence around it, but to put another exit entrance way. Because if you look at the plans, they're right there at Southwest Access Drive. You can only get into the Kabuchi or whatever it's called, the old Hardee's, one way. You can only access those hotels down there one way, and his exit and his entrance is off of that same drive, which is one way, like Alderman McKinney said. So I would much rather myself see another exit somewhere else than to have the fence, and then you're gonna have all the potential damages and different things with bad drivers and stuff. I would much rather it be at ease to go in and out where you can safely get there with a fire truck or with the police if something were to happen. So just wanted to share that with the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Anybody else for the public hearing? Name and address, please.
Brad Clinkenbeard, 5695 Choctaw Cove. To address the idling, any truck 23 or newer will only idle for 5 minutes before it shuts itself off. That's something that the federal government did. Because I worked for a trucking company and we bought all brand new trucks in 23, and every one of them after 5 minutes shuts off. So that isn't going to be that big an issue except for with the older ones. As for traffic, I work over there. I see them trucks all day, every day, and they're going to be there no matter what we do. I think that a parking spot that, allows them to park, because they park in the parking lot next to, at the building next to me all the time. Belinda's been over there a couple of times because of trucks parked in it. It's an empty building at the moment, but that's why they park there. There's nowhere else to park. So in my opinion, I think it'd be a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clickberry. Anybody else for the public hearing? Bye-bye. Anybody else for the public hearing? Going once, going twice. All right. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Johnson?
after review of case number 2025-090, the Board of Aldermen requests to approve Top of the City, Mississippi Parking LLC for a conditional use permit for a semi-parking lot, secured and guarded. I shouldn't be saying semi. I should be saying bus, a list of things that I don't know what I should be saying.
What was the list again?
It was bus, semi-trucks.
I believe the board may want to list them out first, if that makes it easier for the vote. Or have the applicant say that list and someone writes it, you write it down for the minutes and that goes into the motion. I just don't want to speak for the applicant on those
Let me
exact
just make
vehicles.
sure where I am. I apologize. All right. Permit for the parking lot that will consist of 18-wheelers, bob trucks, bucket trucks, and motor coaches at 769 Southwest Access Drive for a period of 5 years on the condition that the applicant submits to the conditions, I say conditions 2 through 5 and 7, not committing to 1 and 6. There will also be no propane or hazardous material carrying trucks in addition to the conditions.
All right, we have a motion by Alderwoman Johnson. Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Mayor.
Second by Alderman Bostic. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderwoman Armstrong?
can we get some clarification on what the secured and guarded, what is the clear definition of that, what that's gonna be?
So I finished looking through our definition section of the zoning ordinance, and secured and guarded was not listed as a defined term.
So are we gonna accept the cameras and the lights? What else?
There's cameras, lights, and security guard. Well, a rotating security guard that was going through.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, did we also want to do the extra entrance? Is that a condition or?
I do like the idea of the entrance and exit. We can also add that to our conditions
He did mention that.
to the main road.
He did mention that the future plans would include an exit.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any more discussion?
That would need to be in the conditions, though.
That would need to be in the conditions. Yes, I'd like to amend my motion to include an additional entrance exit from the property.
I'm so sorry to do this, but he said later, so are y'all requiring that immediately or at a certain time period?
I would say a certain time period.
I'm sorry, I just want clarification so we can enforce it. I just want something enforceable.
All right.
Now, did we want to say the exact time period?
From an enforcement standpoint, we wouldn't have any leverage over them if they did not comply. So we typically want to see everything required all at once.
Okay.
And so from an enforcement standpoint, it would make more sense to require it or not require it right off the bat.
I say require it then, so we can have that leverage.
All right, you still second? Alderman Boston? All right, no more discussion. Roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Mayor, I know that we went through a lengthy discussion with this motion. Can we have it read back so we can be sure of exactly what we're voting on? Is that too much to ask? I know that it's a lot.
Alderman, the motion was made that we agree on the semi-parking lot, motor coaches. I don't have what you had in front of me. Let me read that real quick. Sorry. Put that off of there. 18-wheelers, utility vehicles, commercial box vans, buses, or anything similar that has limited options around the city due to their sizes, and that we accept the conditions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, as well as an additional condition that, given a specific time frame of adding an additional entrance/exit,
And no hazardous.
and no hazardous material. As far as,
All right. Roll call, please.
Alderman McKinney,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Nay.
Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Smith,
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. All right, moving on to case number 2025-100, text amendment on sidewalks requirements. Andrew?
All right, thank you. All right, so this is an amendment to our Code of Ordinances. The city of Horn Lake is ready to start leading the way in creating safer and more walkable areas for everyone within its borders. Everyone of all ages and backgrounds should have the ability to freely and safely walk through the city they call home. And the best way to provide this is to ensure sidewalks are built in as many places as needed. When examining the how, where, and why people travel to their destinations throughout Horn Lake, it becomes apparent that there are many people of all ages and backgrounds that use the sidewalks both for recreational purposes, such as walking, jogging, riding bikes, or visiting a neighbor, and out of necessity, which is like walking to work or walking to the grocery store. With the wide range of users and purposes, this means that sidewalks are needed on all road types, from the local roads within neighborhoods to the larger and busier roads like Goodman Road West. It should also be noted that there are multiple studies that have shown that walkable areas have higher property values than less walkable areas. And that goes for both commercial and residential areas. And having sidewalks is a direct contributing factor in this boosted value. Requiring sidewalks on all sides of all streets in the city will make the city look more complete, make the city safer for both pedestrians and drivers, and make the city more desirable for future businesses and residents. The developers of the 3 most recent residential subdivision developments in Horn Lake, which are Sage Creek, Ravenwood F, and Ravenwood G, have all agreed that having sidewalks on both sides of all streets makes the most desirable product. So they all agreed to pave them on both sides. But the city is needing this text amendment to guarantee that all other developers in the future will follow in these same footsteps. So I've copied and pasted the current text there on the screen, and In replacement of that, we have the proposed text that would read, sidewalks. Concrete sidewalks not less than 5 feet wide and 4 inches in depth shall be constructed along both sides of all streets, regardless of street classification or street type, which shall include the full length around every cul-de-sac, which shall also be built with any curbs, gutters, and grass buffers as required by the city. And then that would also have an additional part that says material and compression tests of the concrete shall be performed and submitted to the engineer. That last part already exists, and so the only thing we were actually amending is just that letter E to include sidewalks being on both sides of every new subdivision street, as opposed to just one side. So we have the planning commission meeting minutes posted there. And just go straight to the possible motion there, which is exactly what I just read. So that concludes that presentation. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Anybody have any questions for Andrew?
Mayor.
Alderman McKinney?
So we're just saying this is for new developments to come, that they have to, the amendment that we're changing or rewording or whatever, it just goes to new.
So the way this is set up in our ordinance is, this is all written into our subdivision ordinances. So when any applicant comes to us and wants to propose a plat application that is showing the dividing of any land, whenever they build out a street, that typically gets dedicated to the city, but any new street being proposed would have to conform to this.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Andrew? From the board? All right. Attorney?
Do you have the actual ordinance to present to the board?
Yes, I can absolutely read that.
Or, no, not to read it. I'm sorry.
It's in everyone's staff report. I have the,
I just wanted to make sure they had a written copy of it prior to it being published. That's all. Thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing. You'll be limited to 3 minutes. All right. Public hearing is now closed. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman, Langston.
after reviewing the case number 2025-100, move that we recommend that we move to approve the text amendment on sidewalk requirements.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Second by Alderwoman Johnson. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call, please.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Smith, Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe, Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Now let's move on to case number 2025-101.
all right, so this next case is also a text amendment. Little similar, but a lot of major differences here. So the city of Horn Lake has multiple residential areas with residential streets with varying dimensions. So some streets are excessively wide for no apparent reason, while others are so narrow that cars cannot park on them anymore. So many streets in this city also change widths when going from one neighborhood to another. Some have sidewalks on both sides, some have them on just one side, and some have them on neither side. Additionally, the right-of-way widths in residential areas greatly vary as well, and many of these variations do not seem to have any relation to the width of the street itself, the sidewalk, or the grass buffer within its lines, as many right-of-way lines extend beyond the sidewalk. It has become apparent that there must be a required standard for all developers to follow when building local streets in all new subdivisions. The city has seen multiple instances of developers attempting to build the skinniest streets with no curb and gutter and no sidewalks in order to cut down on their costs and maximize profits, but to the detriment of the city in the long run. It is the city's responsibility to ensure that the developers build their developments in such a manner that will benefit everyone in the future. And the only way we can do this is by passing ordinances that they must follow. For decades, the city has been hurt by letting developers design their subdivisions and streets the way they wanted to. And for the record, some subdivisions were approved by the city of Horn Lake, while others were inherited by DeSoto County after the city annexed certain areas in the county. It is now time for the city to require that all developers of all residential subdivisions build all of their new streets to the same specifications in order to create a more uniform and orderly city that benefits everyone. So planning staff wishes to start with the smallest currently allowed right-of-way width that developers may build, and that's 50 feet. A 50-foot right-of-way is typically used for all local roads, which are the smallest roads found in residential subdivisions. This 50-foot right-of-way width is the most commonly proposed right-of-way width in the neighborhoods because it allows the developer to pave the smallest amount of asphalt while giving them the largest amount of lot acreage to build homes on. While the city has required this minimum width for many years, the real problem was that there was never any specified requirements for the internal dimensions of those right-of-ways, such as street width, curb width, grass buffer width, and sidewalk width. The planning department believes that the best compromise for the internal layout of the 50-foot right-of-way is a 34-foot street measured from the inside faces of the curbs with 6-inch curbs, a 2.5-foot grass buffer, and 5-foot wide sidewalks. This all adds up to exactly 50 feet, whereas the edge of the sidewalk is the edge of the right-of-way, and that gives the additional benefit of knowing exactly where the city property starts and stops. This also allows for on-street parking, safe walkability on both sides, and a grass buffer that provides an adequate distance between pedestrians and vehicles, as well as space for certain utilities if needed. And so I put the current text on page 3, as well as the chart of all the different right-of-ways that the developers can choose from. And then it shows the 50-foot down at the bottom, which is the most common one that they want to build out. And then on page 4, I have the proposed text after the current text. And so to keep things simple, planning staff is considering adding the following wording to the end of the list above, adding letter M, which shall read exactly, every right-of-way consisting of a width of 50 feet shall have a street width of 34 feet as measured from front of curb to front of curb, and both sides of the street shall consist of a curb measuring 6 inches in width, a grass buffer measuring 2.5 feet in width, and a sidewalk measuring 5 feet in width. So we have the Planning Commission meeting minutes shown. And page 6 is the possible motion showing the exact wording I just read, and that concludes the presentation.
All right, any questions for Mr. Andrew?
Mayor.
Quick one, and maybe,
Oh, wait, Alderman McKinney.
And again, I just wanted to make it clear, you're talking about new streets from new developments, and we're not talking about like going back and doing old stuff with new things that.
Correct. The way this is laid out, we are amending the same part of the ordinance that addresses brand-new designs being presented to us for a new right-of-way that is 50 feet. So if any developer proposes a right-of-way on any new plat or at any part of the process, we're going to require these dimensions.
Thank you.
Alderman Langston?
that was my same question at you, was that it's for the newer ones, but I guess the thought would be, would there be a plan to go back and fit some of these that are in danger now?
That would be a whole different initiative by the city. not addressed in this part of the ordinance.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Andrew? All right, so now open to the public for 3 minutes each. No one comment, public hearing is now closed. All right, do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderwoman Armstrong.
After review of case number 2025-101, I'm making a motion to approve the adoption of the text amendment to the Code of Ordinances to add letter M to the current wording of Chapter 34 subdivisions, Article 3 subdivision design standards, Section 34-57 streets, to read the following as required on letter M.
Have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Langston. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Aye.
Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Smith, Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Attorney Griffin with us?
At this time, I would ask that since we did not read out specifically the details of each ordinance, that we ask for a motion to waive the reading of the ordinances.
Have a motion for the waive the reading of the ordinance?
Yeah, I'll make that motion. Go ahead.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Smith, Alderwoman Armstrong,
Humbly, aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Aye.
Alderman McKinney,
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, it's a public hearing which I now declare open. We have a list of properties which have not been maintained. This will give the city authority to access private property to clean and make our city look better. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on any of the properties listed? Would any board members like to speak on any of the properties listed?
Norman Haji, and I'm here for the property at 4955 Highway 51. We cleaned the property multi times, and most of the stuff has been cleaned. And if there is anything left, we are willing to clean it for ourselves. We're not interested to anybody or private contractor to enter our property.
Say it again, I couldn't hear you, sir.
I said that we cleaned the property, and most of the stuff was there is gone. If there is anything left, we are willing to clean it. But we're not interested to have any other contractor to enter our property to clean it.
Okay, so you already cleaned the property?
Yes.
Okay.
And we do have here some pictures to verify it. And as I said, if there is anything left, we are willing to contact the code enforcement.
Belinda, have you had a good chance to look at this property for any updates?
I went this afternoon at 6 o'clock, a little after 6, I took pictures. It is still overgrown around the property. There is construction debris still there, of which we did pass that ordinance last year or the year before, I don't remember, with certain construction debris. It is covered up with vegetation now, including the sidewalk. So I do have those pictures. You're more than free to look at all of these that I took. We do have, and when I was there was also a person on your property stealing something.
Gee.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll be taking a vote, based off what the alderman's perceived and looked at. We'll take a vote and consider your suggestion. Thank you. Anybody else here?
How y'all doing? Congratulations to everybody. Oh, yeah, I got my head slicked back. My wife smacked it all off of me. But anyway, it's good to see y'all. But since we're doing this, I have got a hideous piece of property, lives next door to me, 1962 Church Road. And we've been trying to get this cleaned up for over 20 years plus. Now, we started really getting after it in October, but it's like the lady doesn't mind going to jail. She likes her 3 hots and a cot, but she don't take a bath, I believe, but that's another story. But it's just hideous. Now, right now, we've got people pulling up and throwing their dead animal carcasses out. Now, I have done toted several of them away, but you know it's there when the buzzards start landing, and it's just right next door to the house. Now, this piece of property it's a
I got
blight.
a question real quick. Is this property on this list?
No, sir.
Okay, can you come back up doing,
Well, I just wanted to make sure I got y'all warmed up before I got up here.
I got you, because I was gonna say it's still under litigation.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else concerning the properties on this list? Public hearing is now closed. Alderman, you have a choice to make. You heard the gentleman speak about the property at 4951. 4959. 4955, Highway 51 North, is your choice on what to do with that property based on the vote. So do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
make a motion to approve the cleaning of the private property of all the addresses listed above.
All right, we have a motion to approve the cleaning of all the private properties that are on the list above. A second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Bledsoe. Any discussion?
Mayor.
Mayor.
I think Alderman
Now,
Johnson.
the photos that we saw are unclear. It looks like Miss Belinda's photos are recent, as of today. Am I correct, Miss Belinda?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
So the property is not up to code, is that right?
No, ma'am, it is not.
All right. Alderwoman Armstrong, you have anything? Same thing? Okay. All right. Any more discussion? All right, roll call, Ms. Carter.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Langston. Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Aye.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, let's move on to citizen remarks. It'll be limited to 3 minutes. Starting at this time. We have Glenn. There you go. You've been anticipating
Glenn
this, haven't
Ashley, 1876 Church Road. It's just the same old problem. How do I get that house on this list right here is what I'd like to know. Because I read this about 21-19-11. And how long does it take to get somebody to clean up a piece of property? Now, I know Miss Belinda's been a big help, but if the people don't do anything, we got a lawyer here. What do you do with this? I'm asking. Now, look, they're eating up my 3 minutes.
Well, as I remember, this case is still under litigation right now, so we can't.
Okay,
yeah,
now
we
how
can't-
long, now the property's been in will probate for 23 years, so nothing's been done with that.
Well, you got it in the hands of the court, so that's the highest we can get it in right now.
Oh, me.
So
Okay, well, we got one more problem.
Oh, Lord, have
If
mercy.
we go down to 2-lane, take a left on Church Road, you don't go 100 yards. There is a pothole over there that I saw a kid almost flip his car upside down. Now, they've got 2 orange cones sitting right there, but that kid went off in that and the back tires came up. And I stopped to help him, but we got it out and it was able to move. but it wasn't moving very well. Now, somebody, I mean, it drops off. Now, somebody's gonna get hurt pretty bad right there, and that's just an issue I wish we could look into on that road right there.
Wayne, have you know anything about that pothole?
Yes, sir. We had to get a drain clean out. The water was building up in the drain, and it was going across the road, making cars come off the road. So we cleaned it out and put 2 barriers down, but we never been back to it.
All right, we're gonna get
That's a pretty bad spot.
Yes, sir.
It's bad, bad.
Close to the road.
Okay, I just,
I can get on it. It was like that when Steve left, we never did come back to it, but I can get on.
all right.
okay. All right, that's all I got.
Mr. Glenn,
Thank y'all.
we'll get on it ASAP.
I'll see y'all next week.
Thank you,
No,
Mr. Glenn.
next month.
In 2 weeks, Mr. Glenn. All right, Ms. Kirby Carter.
Hello again. I don't have anything to complain about tonight, but I am here to really just beg and plead with the community and kind of do a public plea with the board. I'm very, very passionate, very pro our schools and our kids, and I feel like we should have our local board and things to back up our kids in our schools. And I just wanted to plead with anyone who's listening or watching or here tonight to try to be as involved in the schools as possible. There's so much potential in our area. It's so untapped, and all it takes is just one person sometimes. And there's PTOs out there in the schools. You do not have to be a parent or grandparent or guardian to be a member of a PTO. You can sign up, be a part of the PTO. It includes the community. We are all the community. And I just feel like we need to try to get more invested in our schools, more invested in our kids. And I always like to have quotes and stuff because I'm just a history guru. But Marion Wright Edelman said, the question is not whether we can afford to invest in every child, it's whether we can afford not to. So I want to leave that thought with everyone. And if you do see an event at a school that's a community thing, please come out. If you see a ball game, volleyball game, the volleyball team was so excited to see the mayor the other night because people just don't normally come to those. They're not as publicized as some of like the football and basketball. So, please come out. It makes a big, big difference, especially in some of these kids. They're starting to have that turn of age where they're trying to figure out who they are, what they want to do. Sometimes all it takes is that one person showing up repeatedly that can make a difference. So I just wanted to put that plea out to the community and the board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. And they can start off this weekend and ride to Oxford, Mississippi and watch Horn Lake go whoop up on the Chargers. Chargers, and that's my wife's family. They from Oxford, so we got to go show up this weekend. All right. I want all bragging rights after this weekend. All right. Ms. Mary Jones and Sylvia Crawford. Come on up. The price is not right.
Good evening, 5531 Nell Road. We didn't come to complain about anything. We're looking forward to seeing what the next 4 years is going to bring. I've lived in Horn Lake all my life, and I can see what's going on now, and I'm just excited about what's going to happen. But we did come to extend the invitation to the board. We're planning, our church, we did our first responders appreciation on last year, and we're planning to do another first responders on October 11th. We tried to combine Walls and Horn Lake together. Our church is 6444 Goodman Road, and it's really in Walls. So we sent out invitations last year, but I think possibly because they thought the church was in Walls that it didn't have anything to do with Horn Lake. But it does, because we're a community first and foremost. And I do believe that if situation happened with Walls, that our first responders in Horn Lake is going to come and help Walls also. And we believe that for Chief Linville and Chief Pullen, I feel a sense of security here. When I drive down Nell Road, there's always a police officer. If I drive on 301, I see there's a police officer. Goodman Road, there's one. And so I feel safe at night. Some cities can't say that, but I feel a safety here. And so we want to show our first responders that we appreciate them and we love them. And I've already talked to Lieutenant Steiner, so he knows. And I've talked to Battalion Chief White, I think, Battalion White, and he knows. And so we wanted to extend the invitation to you personally to see if some of the board members could come out and, show our first responders appreciation. And I look around and I see all the first responders here, and I love them. I have a special something in my heart
You
for
made them stay to campaign this for you, didn't you?
I do.
I knew it was something.
My cousin, he was a first responder in Arkansas. And so he used to send me this little emoji every Sunday night. And he used to have the little lady at church, and he'd say, "Did you get the shout?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." So one Sunday night, I did not receive that emoji. And so that Monday morning, my aunt called me and let me know that I would never receive that emoji again. So I say that to say this, they go out selflessly, knowing that there's a possibility that they won't come home to their families. And, there's something, everything can happen at any given time, but they do this selflessly for us, for our community. And I just wanted to extend the invitation to you. If y'all can come, we would really appreciate it. I have some flyers here, and there's a number on there that you could call myself or Sister Crawford and let us know. JRM Enterprises, they're combining with us Walmart, Starbucks, and McDonald's.
Okay.
And they will be with us also. So it's going to be a catered event. We just want some of you to come out if you would.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you please say the name of your church? You said everything else. Say the name.
I am so
and then
sorry. The name of our church is New Hope Baptist Church. It's at 6444 Goodman Road, Pastor Robert Ruth, Jr. And I do have some flyers with all that information on it, and I will give some out, and so that y'all could contact us so that we could get a number, because we need a number to see who's going to come, so that they can have the number for the catered event. Okay, that's all.
Just leave it with Chief over here. We'll have somebody contact you.
Thank you.
All right, that closes out our citizens' remark. All right, now we're going to Mayor and Alderman correspondence. I want to take this time to be appreciative of having so many wonderful directors here. And Ms. Carter, myself, and AJ had a chance to interview all of our directors. And we just want to call their names out. We'll be reappointing them tonight. City Clerk, Chief Administrative Officer, Ms. Tanya Carter, City Judge, Mr. Benjamin Murphy, City Prosecutors, Jordan Russell and Robert Hayes, City Public Defender, Robert Williams Johnson, City Attorney, Ravonda Griffin Willis, Ann Perry Griffin Law Firm, PLLC, Police Chief Allison Pullen, Court Clerk Tara Warren, Fire Chief David Linville, all our deputy clerks, court clerks, dispatchers, and telecommunicators, deputy city clerks. We want tonight to go ahead and reappoint them to serve in continue to serve in Horn Lake. May I get a motion to reappoint all those names?
Mayor, I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic.
Second.
We have a second by Alderman Bledsoe. Any discussion? All right, roll call, Ms. Carter.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Langston. Aye. Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Aye. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Thank you. Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We want to thank everybody. We had a nice crowd here tonight. Thank you to the fire department, everyone who participated in tonight's meeting. This is what community is about. It's about participating and being part of the process of your community. So we want to thank you all for being here on tonight. Alderman Bostic, you have anything? Alderman Langston, you have anything? Alderman Johnson, have anything?
No, sir.
Alderman Smith, you have anything? Alderwoman Armstrong, you have anything?
Yes, sir. Mayor, I would like to see if the board can adopt a resolution for a temporary moratorium on gas stations, vape stores, liquor stores, car washes, until we can do a comprehensive study to
right, we have a motion. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. Can we get a second?
I will
I
second
second.
that. I just want to make sure that it's okay with our attorney if we jam all that together and we're able to do that.
Yes.
That pretty much covered the big three.
She asked for a comprehensive plan, so that's.
Can you listen again one more time? I wanted there. real
Gas
quick.
stations, liquor stores, vape stores, and car washers.
Okay, cool. All right. I didn't hear car washes the first time. I want to make sure it was on.
Oh, it gotta be in there. It's in there. Second, we have a second?
Aye.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Aye.
Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Smith, Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Happily, aye.
Mucho gracias.
Motion passes unanimously. This gives our planning department action start the process of doing a study on these items. All right, Alderman Bledsoe. No. Alderman McKinney.
No, sir. I'm good.
All right, thank you. That was all the board. Let's go to the department head correspondence. Do we have anything, Chief Pulley? We have anything, Wayne?
No, sir.
Chief Linville?
No, sir.
Drew? I need a taller seat. Drew?
Thank you, Mayor. No, sir, not tonight.
Vince, Mr. Vince?
Yeah, Mayor, just a couple of quick points here. As you know, we took bids on the EWP project this past week, and we only received one bid, but we are able to move forward with that bid. It was within the budget, and it just had a slight irregularity in it that we're working through with the attorney right now. So once we get that resolved, which should be soon, we'll be probably awarding that, or recommending award, next board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Vince. Thank you so much. All right, Glenn?
Good evening, Board, Mayor. I actually have some handouts for you, so I'll make this really quick, and I'll just read it out for you real quick. This is animal data from January 1st to July 31st of 2025. These numbers are pretty staggering, and this is why I think that you should know that this is what this is. According to our information, we took in 649 animals between those dates of January 1st, 2025 and July 31st of 2025. That was 225 cats, 412 dogs, and 12 others. We caught 6,479 running at large cases. There were 64 owner surrenders. We got 33 returns from adoptions. We had 27 born within the shelter, and we had 46 that were abandoned in the city of Horn Lake. The total outcomes from that 649 was 612. So we adopted out 218 cats left, 382 dogs left, and all 12 of the others left our building. Our outcome types, our positive outcomes, out of that 612 were 505, which is 326 adoptions, 103 returned to owners, which puts us in the #1 category for getting animals back home nationwide. And we had 68 that were rescue transfers. We had 8 that we returned in the field, being that we are microchipping and have microchip scanners in the vehicles. There were 107 negative outcomes. We had behavior euthanasias, meaning that they were unsafe, and there were quality of life issues that they were facing. And that number out of that 649 is 39. There were also health euthanasias. That number is 32. There were 36 neonates that died in care. A neonate is a small baby that would be nurse-fed, bottle-fed, or nursing with mom. So we had 36 of those that passed away. Month to date, so far, we have taken in $3,524 for this month, and year to date, we took in $61,503.76. So that's all I have on my report for you. But I also want to give you some information about DeSoto County. Walls has 1,412 people. Hernando has 18,542 people. Olive Branch has 47,365 people. South Haven has 57,493 people. Horn Lake has 26,574 people. Nesbitt has 8,724. And that leaves DeSoto County unincorporated with 35,633. How is that relevant to us? That is a total of 195,871 people in DeSoto County. That means for every, so Hernando took in 400 animals for the year of 2024. Olive Branch took in 700. South Haven took in 900. We took in almost 1,200 for the year of 2024. So if you really think about it, that means every fourth person in Horn Lake is going to encounter a stray dog and bring one in. I just want to tell the board and the mayor how important it is that we do the work that we're doing, because these numbers are real, and it is showing that we have a stray dog, a stray cat problem overall in DeSoto County. But we're really facing it a lot here if we're taking in 2/3 more than Hernando, and if we're taking in more animals than South Haven, which is right down the block. And that number differential between us and South Haven is 31,000 people. They have more than us, and we've taken in more animals than them. So I just wanted the board to be aware of that, and we are doing good work, and thank you so much for all your support.
Thank you, Glenn. Give them a hand for the wonderful job that they're doing. Man, Andrew, you've been talking all night. You shouldn't have nothing left.
I don't want to talk anymore, but one quick thing. Please check out our city website. We posted on the city news part of the website for everyone to take our Safe Streets for All survey. So we posted a link of the survey on there. And please leave comments. There's an interactive map. Please drop points on the map, and it's for whatever you want to talk about on sidewalks, ADA ramps, safety for driver safety, bicycle safety, pedestrian safety, any comments you have for anywhere in the city, please fill it out, because this will help us get grants. That's all.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you all for all the wonderful work you're doing. City Attorney Willis Griffin.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I don't have anything, Mayor. Are there any questions for me?
Do any aldermen have any questions for the board? I forgot to ask y'all that earlier. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna have to go back. It's been long already. It's my bedtime. All right. We have also a few items discussed in executive session. Can we have a motion to go into closed determination?
Mayor, I'll make that motion to go into closed determination.
We have a motion to go into closed determination. Do we have a second?
Hey.
We have a second by Alderman Bledsoe. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Langston,
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Smith, Alderwoman Armstrong,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Aye.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
All right, we'll be going into closed determination. To go into executive session? Come out of closed determination.
Mayor, I motion that we come out of closed determination.
Motion by Alderwoman Johnson.
Second.
Second by McKinney. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
All right, motion passes. Motion passes, 6, 1 absent. All right, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Mayor, I motion that we go into executive session.
All right, we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second by Larry McKinney, motion by Alderwoman Alderwoman Johnson. Have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bostic. Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Motion passes 6 and 1 absent. We're now in executive session. All right, need a motion to come out of executive session? All right, Bledsoe made that motion.
Second.
Second by McKinney. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Do we have any motions coming out of executive session? Can I get a motion to extend the meeting?
Mayor, I motion that we extend our meeting beyond our normal
Second.
time.
Got a second, motion by Alderwoman Johnson, second by Alderman Bledsoe. All right, any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Carter.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Langston. Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, do we have any motions coming out of executive session?
Mayor, I move to authorize you, Mayor Stokes, to approve the memorandum of understanding for GE Vernova.
All right, we have a motion by Alderwoman Johnson. We have a second.
I'll second that, Mayor.
We have a second by Alderman Bledsoe. Do we have any discussion? Bostic. Alderman Bostic, we have a discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Bostic.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I'm positive. Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Will there be any other motions coming out of executive session?
Mayor, I move that we suspend employee number 782 without pay until September 2nd, 2025.
We have a second.
Second.
Alderman Langston, we have, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Do we have any other motions coming out of executive session?
Mayor, I move that we adjust employee number 397's pay by $2 increase effective immediately.
All right, second. Any seconds?
Second.
All right. Alderman Bostic, any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Will there be any more motions coming out of executive session?
Mayor, I move to approve item E with the amendment that they answer to the Animal Shelter Director.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Armstrong. Motion made by Alderwoman Johnson. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Langston.
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Smith. Alderwoman Armstrong.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman McKinney.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Will there be any more motions out of executive session?
Mayor, I had a quick discussion. I know we had talked about having a budget meeting next Wednesday. Is that correct, Ms. Carter?
Budget hearing on the 3rd, yes, sir.
On the 3rd, it's already been posted to where we can have it.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is a question for the attorney. Do we need to adjourn here or make a motion to recess until next Wednesday?
The meeting, you can adjourn this meeting because that is just a hearing. That's not a part of the.
I was just making sure the public knows that we've got a,
You want to recess this meeting?
sure why he's saying that.
Do I?
It's not
It's not necessary.
I'm sorry. It's not necessary.
Gotcha, okay.
All right, there'll be no more motions coming out of executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Motion by Alderman Bostic,
Second.
second by Alderwoman Armstrong. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.